Across the UK, online and on DAB.
A new kind of talk radio. We'll get you talking. Talk radio.
Dear listener, this doesn't feel like my England anymore. There's no party, there's no church, there's nothing for me. A misquote that I heard today driving in, and it's from Alan Bennett from about 1982, and I thought, do you know what? I kind of agree with that. This doesn't feel like my country anymore. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Bear with me. Here we go. Thank you.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me down the road. It's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on.
The full quote is, "Not English, I feel now. This is just where I happen to be put down. No country, no party, no voice." I thought it was brilliant. Alan Bennett, 1982 would have been. Is that when the Falcons was? I've got Alan Bennett diaries, 1980 to 1989. I'm that kind of posh, silly old git that listens to that kind of stuff, and absolutely love it. And he was talking about the Falklands War and the jubilation over the Falklands War and all that kind of stuff. And but I kind of it really rang with me. Not English, I feel now. He expressed it as poets and writers and playwrights and authors and men and women of words often do. He expressed in that short 2 sentences a feeling that I've had for ages and ages and ages and ages, and I've not been able to express it. I've kind of toyed with it a little bit on the radio show and tried to convey it, but I've not been able to convey it as succinctly as this. Not English, I feel now. This is just where I happen to be put down. No country, no party, no church, no voice. Isn't that good? This is just where I happen to be put down. And it kind of ties in with the Will Storr book I'm reading. He's got a new book coming out called Selfie. It's brilliant. And it's about how a lot of what we think is right and a lot of what we think about ourselves and how we perceive ourselves in the world around us is to do with where we're born. And we get a lot of our stories of, a lot of our sense of self and of what is important from Greek mythology. And if you compare it with, because all the Greek mythology, it's normally one person, a hero that suffers a great loss, goes on a journey, goes through several tasks, and comes out at the end a better person and a more heroic person, and in love and happy. And it stems from Greek mythology, and it goes all the way up to modern films. You watch Star Wars, that's what Star Wars is. Luke Skywalker, isn't it? He's an orphan, and then he goes through some bad stuff, and he comes out at the end, and he's heroic. But if you compare that with Chinese culture, they have a completely different view on things. Their stories and their perception of the world around them is not based on the self, it's based on the group, the whole society, groups of people. And we'll get, when I finish the book, Will's going to come on and talk about it. It's a bit of a trawl, but it's a cracking read. And Will compares, if there's a story of a murderer, right, if there's a newspaper story about a murderer, the newspaper will say, what a bad person. They did this bad thing. And you will get phone-in hosts doing phone-ins on, is there such a thing as evil? Is this person evil? Whereas in China and other parts of the Far East, they will look at society's role in this. They will say, someone kills someone, they will look at whether that murderer had just got sacked from work, or whether that murderer had just been dumped by his wife, or whether that murderer had just lost a child, or something like that. They will, instead of looking at the person, the individual, they will take a step back and look at the things around them. Isn't that interesting? It's really interesting. And it's all because of where we happen to be born. We've had a few extreme Christians on the show recently, Paul and Ken, I'm thinking of in particular. And both gentlemen are extremely anti-Muslim to the point of it, you know, being bigoted and obnoxious. And I would say that their hatred of Islam is as strong as, you know, and what they were saying is as strong as what some of the hate preachers who are Muslim are saying. But the only reason that those gentlemen and others like them are Christian is because of where they happen to be born, because they're born on this rock. That's it. That's the only reason that Christian families, you know, you grow up and you have kids and they become Christians, and they grow up and they have kids and they become, because we were born here. I kind of broke the cycle. My mum was a little bit Christian, a little bit. She was a Sunday school teacher, but a little bit. And I went to Sunday school and Wednesday club, but I kind of broke the cycle. But had I been born in Pakistan, I'd probably be a Muslim. Had I been born in India, I'd probably been a Sikh. And I would have seen, if I'd been a Sikh, I would have perceived the Muslims and the Christians as being wrong. If I'd been born a Muslim, I'd perceive the Christians and the Sikhs and the Buddhists as being wrong. Here's an interesting thing. They did studies with Japanese children and English children. This is all from Will's book. And I'm really pleased I'm remembering it, because it's quite a heavy read, right? And up until about the age of 3, Japanese children and English children, maybe they're American, they draw the same pictures. They draw the same kind of pictures. And then from about the age of 3 or 4, the pictures go off in different directions, but they follow cultural norms. So English and American kids' pictures will be the same, and Japanese and Chinese kids' pictures will be the same. In as much as, right, you get a kid of about 5 to draw a picture of a house on a house on a street and the sun, right? And they will always, and I'd never thought of this until I saw it, they'll always do the horizon quite low down, won't they? The ground will be quite low down on the picture, near the bottom, and the sky will be really high up at the top. They don't do that, Japanese kids. They don't do that. Their ground is kind of more to the middle of the picture. Now, it's a tiny, tiny thing, but it just shows that the way we perceive things, the way we look at things, is dependent on where we were born. 0344 499 1000. They did studies where they showed a tank of fish to some Americans and a tank of fish to some Chinese and some Japanese. And then they said to the Americans, can you describe what you've seen? And the Americans would describe the fish. They would describe the fish. The Chinese and the Japanese would describe everything that was in the tank, and they would get to the fish about 5th or 6th on the list. They'd say there were rocks there, and there was a little thing that was water, and there was a fake crab, and there was a bench, and then there was some fish. Whereas we focus on the fish. What is the point I'm getting to? I don't know. I've not read the book. So I've not finished the book, so I can't quite tell you. But it ties in, I think, maybe I'm trying to join up too many dots, but it ties in with not English, I feel now. This is just where I happen to be put down. Everything that we perceive as being right and holy and true and correct and morally upstanding, it's just because we were born here and because our mum and dad told us things and their mum and dad told them things. And we watched programmes growing up like Knight Rider. You know, that Knight Rider. There you go. There's an example. Knight Rider. It's one man who believed that one man could make a difference. Same journey. He started off, he got shot in the face. First actor to play Michael Knight wasn't David Hasselhoff. He got shot in the face, had plastic surgery, and then went on to solve crimes and things. One man. The hero of one man. You don't get that in the East. It's a Western thing, and it's traceable back to Greek mythology. So we get our ideas of what is right and what is morally acceptable through watching films and stuff and reading books and the stories that have been passed down. You can break it down a bit more. You know it was legal to have sex with 13-year-olds in Spain until fairly recently. I think they changed it about 10 years ago. I think. It was recent. Certainly within living memory. And that was the cultural norm, it was okay to have sex with 13-year-olds. It was okay. And I think once they joined Europe kind of, the EU went, that 13-year-old sex thing, I think you're going to have to do a little bit of work on that, guys, and just up the age limit a bit. I think there are still some countries in Europe where it's 15 is the legal age. And it's perceived as, it's just the way it is. Now, I'm not, of course, arguing that we should be having sex with 13-year-olds. I'm not Milo, for crying out loud. I'm just saying that the way we perceive things, the concepts we have of faith and of God, and all of these things, comes from the fact we were born here. It's just chance. It's just chance. Not English, I feel now. This is just where I happen to be put down. And I've tried to express this before by saying, again, this is me being ham-fisted, but I feel no pride for this country. I feel no pride for it. When we were doing well at the Olympics, when I was doing a radio show, people would say, I feel so proud of those Olympians. Why? Why? It's just a mathematical quirk of fate that I was born within, the 300-mile radius of them. That's all. It's just luck. It's not luck. It's coincidence. It's coincidence that I was born on the same bit of rock as Greg Rutherford. So why should I feel pride about that? Why should I feel proud about something people on this bit of rock achieve? I don't feel English. Now, there will be members of the audience listening to this who will interpret this as some kind of far right, I don't feel English walking down my high street because of all the brown people. It's not that at all. It's not that at all. It's nothing to do with colour, nothing to do with other people's religion, nothing to do with languages. It doesn't make it, which is why I'm not that bothered about immigration, because I don't see this as my country. Get out of my country. Just born on this bit of rock, and some of it is good and some of it sucks. But if I'd been born in Iran, I would probably think the same. Some of it's good and some of it sucks. If I'd been born in Pakistan, some of it's good, some of it sucks. And if I'd been born in Pakistan, I'd think some of the stuff we do over here is ridiculous and some of it looks quite cool. I'm not really sure if I'm going anywhere with this. I'm probably not. 0344 499 1000. I'm just reading this Will Storr book, and that line from Alan Bennett just jumped out at me. So much so, I'm listening to it in the car, so much so that About 2 hours after I got home, it was still dancing around in my head, and I was starting to misquote it. So I had to go back and sit back in the car and try and find the bit so I could listen to it again. Not English, I feel now. This is just where I happen to be put down. No country, no party, no voice. It's good, isn't it? I don't feel English. I don't think I've ever felt English. I've certainly never felt pride in this country. People will say, oh, you're a Ramona and you're talking the country down. No, not at all. I'm a human being and I'm being honest with you. I don't feel English. 0344 499 1000. This is kind of a tough one because I'm struggling to get my head around it. So you're probably struggling to get your head around what I'm struggling to get my... You dig? Good. Right. Well, you can have fun with this, or not. Let's see. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Do you feel English? Yeah, let's leave it at that and see where we go, shall we? Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give me a call. Let's go to Andrew. Good evening, Andrew.
Oh, hi, Ian. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Good. I'd like to tell you a very English story, but before I do that...
You're not the Andrew that just emailed me, are you?
No, sir.
Okay, well, let me read this email this is from another Andrew in Northampton. The late great Mike Dickin once said this country, England, is going to hell in a handcart. He wasn't wrong. I don't feel English at the moment, but once we leave the EU, I certainly will. It is them that are sending us to hell in a handcart. Right, Andrew, first of all, I'm speaking to Andrew emailed, not you, Andrew. First of all, it's a phoning show, not an email show. 0344 499 1000. Secondly, that's the kind of narrow-minded, stupid rhetoric that I would expect from someone too cowardly to phone up a radio show. That is complete and utter nonsense. How the hell, Andrew who's emailed, not Andrew who's called, how the hell are you going to feel more English after we leave the EU? What the hell does that even mean? You're just spouting nonsense. And hell in a handcart, I feel more English after we leave. Oh, dear God, man, you're talking absolute balls. Either phone in or go and listen to LBC. Yes, Andrew, who's called in?
Ian, yes. Last week,
yes,
you were going on about the difference between resentment and pain.
Yes. Well,
and you mentioned an American guru, and you said Brené Brown.
Brené Brown.
You didn't mean Brad Brown, did you?
No, I meant Brené Brown.
Okay, because I've done a course, very similar course, with somebody called Brad Brown, and it was just something I thought might have got... No, I never get things muddled up. I'm always on the ball. What course did you do with Brad Brown? It's called the Life Training.
Oh.
And we did it almost exactly the same sort of things that you were talking about. It was very interesting.
Maybe they are related, who knows? What training have you learnt for life then?
Yes. The best one is
yes.
Every time we experience a negative emotion,
yeah,
it is because we are believing a lie which we are telling ourselves to be true.
For example,
I might not like somebody, or I might not like travelling on a bus or something, and I'm telling myself a lie that I don't like travelling on a bus.
But what if it makes you feel nauseous?
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about mental stuff, not the physical discomfort.
No, but if travelling on a bus makes you feel sick, then to think I don't like travelling on the bus is not a lie; it's a truth.
Oh, that's right. But I was thinking you might have a resentment against the passengers, for example.
Yes,
because they're always on their mobile phones or something like this. And the truth is that the truth is that I can listen to people and ignore it, but I choose not to. I choose to get involved and try and sort of get irritated.
Ah. Oh yeah. Here's something. When people say to me, "Oh, you've made me really angry," I think, well, I often say, "No, I haven't. You've made yourself angry. I've just said what I've said, and you have made yourself angry. The fact that you're angry after I've said something, that's your problem."
Well, yes. I think these things should be taught at an early age, but unfortunately we have to wait until we've had some sort of a crisis in our life.
Ain't that the truth?
Now, I had occasion to meet the great-grandson of a funeral director for the Duke of York, who was the second son of George III.
I hope you're taking notes at home. There will be questions.
He died in 1827 and was succeeded by the George III's first son, who became George IV.
Right.
I'm sure you've heard the nursery rhyme, "The grand old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men."
Yes.
What does that mean to you when you hear that?
What do you mean, what does it mean to me?
Well, because I had the vision when I first heard that here was the grand old Duke of York sort of standing on the top of a hill, ordering 10,000 men to march up and then to march down. And when they were halfway up, they were neither...
Isn't it to do with them getting killed? Didn't they all get massacred?
Well, no, the truth of it, as I say, because I met the grandson of the great-grandson of the funeral director.
Don't go through it again, because it's too complicated.
Okay.
Yes.
So what was happening was that the Duke of York was dead. He was in a hearse.
Right.
But all the horses in England had been sent over to France for the Napoleonic Wars.
Right.
So they had to hire itinerant labour to haul this hearse because the George IV refused to let...
Is anybody else's brain buzzing? My brain is actually buzzing.
He refused to let his brother be buried in York, so he had to bring him down to Westminster Abbey to bury him there.
Yes.
So the 10,000 men refer to all the different people who were hired to pull this hearse all the way from York to London.
And you're telling me this why?
Well, because I think you're talking about England.
Yes.
And I think that's a really English sort of story. And the Englishness about it is I've misunderstood it for the last 40, 50 years. And that's, we live on confusion in this country. We're very good at it.
Oh, no. Now, here we go. No, everybody lives on confusion.
Oh.
Everybody lives on confusion. We're all confused. Here's the thing, Andrew. We're all confused, whatever colour, whatever god we pray to, and we're all a little bit scared. All of us, all around the world. So, confusion over a nursery rhyme, I don't think is necessarily an English thing. It's just, it's Chinese whispers, isn't it? Stories getting passed down over the generations and they lose their initial meaning and we fill in the blanks with a meaning that seems appropriate to us.
But I think it's very English to say something and it actually isn't what you really want to say.
No, other people, but why is that English? Why is that not human?
Well, maybe it's our vocabulary, I don't know, but some countries, they will say it as it is. They will tell it to you straight. We beat around the bush in this country to say something.
I don't think we do. I don't think we do.
Okay.
I don't think we do. And I don't think we do any more or less than anybody else does.
Oh.
In Japan, if you're at a business meeting and someone puts forward a suggestion for how you're going to rebrand your company, and it's obviously a terrible suggestion, the Japanese, do you know what the Japanese do?
Well, they all put their hands together and bow, won't they?
Well, the Japanese sit there, nod their heads and say, that's a really interesting idea, and I like it because... And they will then list 3 things from the idea they like. And they'll say, but I'm not totally sure it's the direction we want to go in. So that's not being direct.
No, I agree with you there. I was just thinking that the higher up you go the classes in this country, the more blurry or obfuscated is their speech. So if you listen to people in Parliament, for example, they say one thing and mean another.
Oh, well, that's not, again, that's politicians around the world.
It's not confined to England.
No, not at all. Politicians around the world will say one thing that makes them popular, then they'll go off and do another thing.
Okay.
Whilst they're taking backhanders, doing cocaine and shagging the secretary. That's what they do. You know, that's what people do. I don't feel English, and I never have. And Catherine reminded me during the break that we have Scots and Irish and Welsh people listening as well, and that's great. But I can only speak about me. I don't feel English.
Oh, well, bang goes the theory.
Bang goes the theory. It's which is an excellent series for kids who like science. Andrew, thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Don't forget to tick your radar diaries. Late nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Uncut after-hours conversation for the up-all-night generation. Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Not English, I feel now. This is just where I happen to be put down. No country, no party, no church, no voice. It's Alan Bennett from 1982, but when I heard it today, boom. I thought it was stunning. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. Paul!
Greetings. Hip, 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 hip.
Hip, 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 Paul. Good evening.
I called because I heard your introductory spiel, and it struck a huge chord with me. I lived in this country. Well, I was born in this country. My parents are Afro-Caribbean. I lived here for 26 years, and then I moved to Malaysia. I spent 15 years there, and I've been back now for 5. And my time, particularly my time away, it's changed my perception of pretty much everything.
Wow, now there's a statement. It's changed my perception of pretty much everything. Try and give me a few examples.
Well, I mean, our existence on this planet, at some point I stopped identifying with being a British person. I am a citizen of the earth.
Mm.
And I think this is the most healthy way for humanity to approach, we belong to this planet and we should be looking after it and one another, as opposed to all of these factional divides and, drawing lines and this bit of soil.
Countries are so old-fashioned, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Flags and countries and...
Yeah.
Going back to this Will Storr book, it's absolutely fascinating. And when I've finished it, we'll invite him in one night because he's brilliant. But he talks about how we align ourselves with people through the strangest, just through circumstance. And he gives an example of, I think it's in Brazil, and they open a boxing school, okay? And the boxing school gives lessons on Mondays. And they have a group that goes in on Monday mornings, and then they go home, and then they have a group that goes in on Monday afternoons. And at the start of the club, for the first couple of months, everyone was friendly. And the people in the mornings, as they were leaving, they'd say hello to the people from the afternoon, and everyone got on. Then slowly, over time, they developed into 2 very distinct groups. And the morning group became very tight-knit, and the afternoon group became very tight-knit. And they started to see the other group as rivals. Bearing in mind, it was purely random and by chance as to what group they were in, okay? They didn't know each other before. But they started to see the other group as a threat and as a rival. And it ended up in a massive gang fight where the morning group jumped the afternoon group and it all kicked off. And they had chosen which side they were on just because they were in the same class as them. And we do that. If you think back to school, when you were in one class and there was another class, and I always looked on the other class with a certain amount of suspicion because they were different to our class. They weren't as good as our class. But it's completely random.
Absolutely.
Go on. Sorry, I interrupted you. You were talking about you're a citizen of the world, which I like.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was born in this country, heritage from the Caribbean. I'm married to a Korean lady. I begin to understand Asian culture. I think, flags, heritage, history, it has its place. But it does not identify who we are. And to address something the previous caller, was it Andrew, was talking about, we cloak ourselves in this illusion, and we create our reality from it. But, you know, life is much more simple than we choose to make it. But people get bored with simple and create stuff to engage with, you know, and fighting and arguments and disagreements and whatnot. It's all a part of that.
You speak a lot of truth. And when you moved to Malaysia, how did you feel about leaving England?
I was sad. I was scared, but excited all at the same time.
And how long did that... You say you were there for years, and I know we've spoken in the past. It's nice to speak to you again. How long did it take for you to settle in Malaysia?
Certainly within the first 6 months of me being there, I got horrifically homesick at least twice.
Yeah.
And bizarrely, I mean, throughout my stay, watching things like a Harry Potter movie, and suddenly, you know, just seeing pictures of the English countryside, I get really quote unquote, homesick.
Yeah.
But I think this feeling of belonging, it's inherited. You know, I left this country feeling very proud of Britain and the heritage which I had associated myself with through no choice of mine for the first 26 years of my life. Yeah,
exactly. You say, it's interesting you say you left feeling proud of Britain when it was your mum and dad. Did they came here before you were born, did they?
They did.
So it was just your mum and dad's decision to move from where they were over here. And they could have stayed there. They could have moved to America. They could have moved to Africa. They could have moved to they could have moved anywhere in the world. They chose to come here.
Yeah.
And you felt pride for that. And I'm just trying to get my head around it, because I don't think I've ever felt properly proud about England or Britain or our sporting achievements or anything like that. It all just seems... I've never understood, you know, fans cheering on the England football team in a match, because I don't get why I don't understand why I'm supposed to support them.
Do you play much sport?
No. That's
probably part of the reason why you don't relate with that kind of...
partly. And partly. But, I was into running. I was a bit of a sprinter, and I still like watching the athletics. But I don't... You know, I just like watching people at the peak of their physical powers, you know, sprinting 100 metres or sprinting 400 metres. I don't get the come on England. And I've really tried in the past to embrace it. And I just don't feel it. I don't feel it. And I don't feel English.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
In much the same way as there's nothing wrong with someone who's wildly nationalistic. The problem comes when people choose to express themselves in violence because their opinions differ with somebody else's.
Yeah.
That's where the problem is.
I'd like to think that that's a minority. I mean, there's the wonderful pictures of the EDL march in Birmingham. I think it was at the weekend or the end of last week. And the young lady, have you seen the picture? The young lady, Sophia Khan. Who's just stood there laughing at this EDL guy who's shouting at her, and she's just stood there smiling at him. And I suppose she's more English than he is, if I had to pick, but I don't really know what that means. I don't know. I've got a feeling we might fall down a few rabbit holes tonight, Paul, but then they're always the most fun conversations to have, I find.
Yeah.
Paul, are you still doing your music?
I'm still doing my music, but I've been living in Leeds for coming on 2 years now and enjoying playing opera now, which is wonderful.
Yay, little bit of opera. I won't dazzle you with my operatic voice. I could do, but I won't. Paul, nice to talk to you, man. Thanks for calling.
Likewise.
Cheers, it is. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. We've got Darren, we've got Alan queued up. You could come up after them. 0344 499 1000. It's one of those conversations. Where I don't really know the point I'm trying to make. I certainly have no end spot that I'm aiming to get towards. It's just, you know, things seem to converge. This Will Storr book, the line from Alan Bennett, it all just seemed to converge. And it's dawned on me, I don't feel English. And I don't think I ever have. I could quite happily live abroad. Now, the only things that would prevent me living abroad are my mum and my kids. You know, unless we up the kids and moved, that would be a huge wrench. So the only things that keep me here are family members that are either too ill or too young to leave, that I have a responsibility towards. There we go. That's what's keeping me here, is a responsibility towards certain people who are dependent upon me. It's not a national pride. It's not me thinking other countries will be worse than this country. Of course, I'd miss things. You know, I'd miss things. I'd miss... I'm struggling to think of what I'd miss. I'd miss certain foods. But that's it. I don't think I'd even miss certain foods. So say I miss the radio, but you can listen to the radio anywhere around the world now. I don't watch TV. No, the only things that keep me here, the only thing that keeps me in this country is responsibility to people who are vulnerable and who are dependent on me to help them. That's it. That's it. And if I didn't have kids, and if my mum died tomorrow, I could quite easily see myself moving abroad, living in Japan for a year, going to America for a couple of years. I could quite easily see myself doing that and not really feeling the pinch. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Do you feel English? Do you feel Scottish? Do you feel Welsh? Do you feel Irish? Do you? Really? And I'm not doing this for one of those phone-ins. Every now and then you'll get a phone-in about cab drivers and school children to be tested on new British tests. Well, what does it mean to be British? I'm not doing that. I don't need to phone up and say, well, fish and chips and, you know, EastEnders and all. I don't want to know what it means to be British or what it means to be English. I just want to know, do you feel English or Scottish or Welsh or Irish? Because I don't have pride when I drive past the Houses of Parliament, which I do every day. I think it's a nice building. I think historically it's fascinating. I don't feel anything. You know, when I see the Queen on TV, I'm not one of those people that, you know, wants to put a noose around her neck. But I'm not one of those people that stands up and salutes. I just think it's a nice old lady. That's it. The religion you are is pretty much down to where you were born. We have a few Christian extremists phoning up. Well, what a surprise. They were born in Britain. You know, a lot of Muslim extremists were born in Muslim, you know, countries where Islam is the predominant religion. I know that's not completely the case, and it takes a few generations for it to wash out. If you're a Christian family, you move to Pakistan, you'd still have Christian kids and probably Christian grandkids. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Do you feel English or Scottish or Welsh or Irish?
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
This has to be a joke text. I don't read texts out, but this, from Sam. Iain, I feel so Welsh that I have shivers and butterflies in my stomach when I hear the Welsh national anthem. I feel so proud to be Welsh. What? Really? Let's get rid of that music, Josh. Let's get rid of that music. Really? You have shivers and butterflies in your stomach? Sam, call in and tell me why, because I don't get it. 0344 499 1000. Yes, Darren.
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, 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 Darren.
Hello, Ian. Hi.
Hi.
Ian, Mike Dickin was mentioned earlier on by yourself, yeah? Don't know why. I think it was that long ago. I can't remember. Anyway, right.
He said, Mike Dickin said, A, his health is not in question, and B, this country is going to hell in a handcart.
Well, you've just... I wanted to ask him, basically, at the end of the day, how are you?
Those words are banned.
And that would have got us kicked off. I used to listen to him anyways. Cheers for him shortening that bit.
Yes.
But anyway, so on the other note, last week you mentioned something that was going to come out with regards to, like, back in the sort of day thing.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
Has that come to fruition?
On the when is the May Day bank holiday? Is it May the 1st? Is that Monday, May the 1st? Anyway,
I couldn't tell you.
On the May Day bank holiday, radio geeks and anoraks and fans of talk radio have to listen to a very special show that Catherine and I are putting together. That's all I'm going to say on the matter.
Okay, no problem.
There might be one or two familiar voices.
Right, good stuff.
Thank you.
Right, question number 2. You know, patriotism or patriotism?
Yes.
Do you know the only time, and this is serious, the only time I remember feeling like I was from this country was in 1977 when I had a street party and I had cups and things like that with the Queen and everything.
Silver Jubilee!
Yeah, Ian. And the thing is, right, I was only 4, so I was sort of brainwashed into that, if you like, and that's the only time I can ever remember anything like I can't even remember seeing a Union Jack ever since.
But that, I mean, how old would you have been in 1977?
I was 4 and a half or 5.
Well, I mean, a 5-year-old can feel pride in that they've done a good picture. A 5-year-old can feel pride going up on stage to, you know, get a book token for perfect attendance or being good. But I don't know. I don't think a 5-year-old can properly feel pride in their country. You were just having a good time. I don't remember the Silver Jubilee.
Cakes, yeah.
And it was exciting because I've seen pictures of it. You know, there were tables out in the street. Yeah, tables out in the street.
Exactly
bunting.
What it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, bunting. Yeah, and huge balloons. But apart from then, it's just been. I totally agree with what has come from your mouth with regards to sort of why you feel like you live here, sort of why you feel like you're British. You don't.
I don't feel it. I don't feel British. I don't feel English. I don't feel. I don't feel European, although I identified as a European. I feel slightly less. I don't know if this makes sense. I'm going to say it and then we'll dissect it. I feel slightly less English since the result of the EU referendum, in as much as it feels to me that the country has got just a little bit, just like a tiny bit, a little bit meaner. It's got a little bit meaner.
Well, let's hope so.
Well, I feel it's got a little bit meaner, and that distances myself even more from the people around me, because there are people celebrating this meanness and rewarding this meanness by giving some mean people, you know, radio shows and newspaper columns and stuff like that. But it's made me feel, if anything, even less English, because I don't want to be a part of that. So what is the solution to that? I don't think there is a solution. I don't think there is any solution. You know, someone will text in and say, well, why don't you bugger off to France then? You know, that's not a solution. You know, I live here, my house is here, my job is here, my car is here, my kids are here, and my mum is here. So that's not a solution. It's a family thing, isn't it? I just think that, I have seen through the facade of national pride that we are indoctrinated into accepting from a very young age. At the age of 4 or 5, when you were celebrating the Silver Jubilee, you were being indoctrinated. You were being brainwashed. I don't remember it. I would have been about 4.
So my parents, so to be fair. They must have been.
Yeah, of course they were. Even more so your parents, because they were closer to the war. You know, my parents, they weren't alive in the war, but they were closer to the Second World War. So it was even more of a British pride, an English pride, a national pride. And it gets passed down to the children. We have been brainwashed and we've been indoctrinated. And I ain't drinking the Kool-Aid anymore, and I can see through it. It's all a con, Darren.
It is, aye.
Thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000. Evening, Jerry.
Hello.
How you doing, boss?
Yeah. I'm doing all right. Not perfect, but all right.
Yeah, well that's, it could be worse. It could be better.
It could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
Which, not bad. Are you going Manchester?
Manchester. We're doing this radio show in Manchester on May the 5th. Then we're doing our first, the Rabbit Hole in Manchester on May the 6th. There are still some tickets available. Ticketsource.co.uk/Ian-Lee. And then we're going back up to Manchester on Saturday, July the 29th to be part of the Manchester Fringe.
I'd like to go. I'd like to go, please.
Say that again, Jerry. You want to come?
I'd like to go. Yeah.
Well, come on then. Well, then come. You're welcome.
I can't get tickets online.
There's a ticket with your name on it, Jerry.
Thank you.
I've got a feeling, and I don't know this, I'm sure I remember in an email, the one in July I think is up some stairs, and I don't think they're going to have wheelchair. I'll double check. But the one on May the 6th, you'll be able to get into.
Yeah, I can go. I can climb stairs. I can climb stairs occasionally.
Can you climb stairs occasionally? Okay, let me check. Let me email the young lady. There's a young lady called Zena putting this whole thing together, who's absolutely brilliant. I'll have a little word with her. I just seem to remember in her first email her saying it was kind of like a small room up above a pub. I'll double check.
Yes, I'd like to do.
You're not going to cause trouble, are you, Jerry? Don't you cause... If you cause trouble, mate, you'll get a slap.
There's a drink, might be on there.
Well, you'd be very, very welcome. We'll find out which show you can make it to, and we'll put a ticket aside for you.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Just I just doesn't take on my phone, so I'll give you a ring. I just ban for using the care room.
I lost the end of that sentence, Jerry. Give us it again.
I didn't know that she's a care room.
Are you using the care home phone or your phone?
My phone.
Your phone. Oh, okay. Fine. And how's everything going?
It's going.
Easter.
Not bad. Can you in trouble for complaining about it? You shall not complain about the stuff for getting in trouble for it. Well, I'm trying to bring it back. I can improve the series so we won't. Well, no.
I'm struggling to understand your bit tonight, Jerry.
Sorry.
No, I'm just in case you finish speaking and I go, well, it's 5 minutes to 11, mate. In case you think because I might have misheard something and heard something slightly different.
Taking back time to the news.
No, forget the news. Screw those losers. It's interesting, isn't it? I went and saw my mum last week, and it's interesting how with Parkinson's and with MS. Sometimes I can understand her and I can understand you perfectly, and sometimes I can't. I suppose the heat isn't helping, is it?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Just really, I've been frozen. Sounds really previous, but just pressing like a statue.
Yeah.
Can't move. Can't speak. Everyone's saying to you, you try to speak and it just makes it worse.
And is that the heat that does that, or the medication?
It's environmental things like the floor not chicken. The floor's not chicken me mad. Sounds like the floor isn't chicken. It's like rubber, but not rubber. It's like carpet, big poles. So much pressure goes through me. It affects me. I just sleeping upstairs quite a lot.
And when you're feeling like that, Jerry, can you sleep? When you're frozen, can you sleep?
Not well. There's tension. That much tension goes through me.
Yeah, I'll bet.
It's not like National Awareness Week for Parkinson's this week. All week. National Awareness Week for Parkinson's. Well, okay. Just I'm suffering at the moment. But I'm doing just speaking crap. Nothing new there.
There's nothing new, mate. This is why we enjoy your calls, because you speak as much crap as I do. Hey, listen, man, I've got to go to the news. Jerry, listen, I will find out about the venue in July. Give us a call towards the end of the week, and I'll have emailed Zena and find out what's going on.
Okay, thank you.
All right, man. Take care. Bye-bye. 0344. Thank you, Jerry. 0344. Cleo, stay there. We'll come to you after the news now. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. It's one of those shows where I'm just kicking around an idea and you've taken off my out time. I've got no, kind of idea of where I'm going or exactly what I'm doing. I'm just kicking around an idea. I don't feel English. And I don't know why I should. 0344 499 1000. Late nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Talk Radio.
And 1 hour down, another one to go, another two to go. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Do you feel English, Scottish, Welsh, Irish? I noticed that Sam, who texted in saying her heart beats with pride every time she hears the Welsh national anthem. That must have been a joke. Because I don't get that at all. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Oh, and when we come back, I will tell you about a really stinky film that me and Kath sat through. Let's find out if that film's advertising with us before I slag it off.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Oh 0344 499 1000. Can we? Mal has texted in. Can we give Mal a call because I don't understand his I don't understand the point that Mal makes in his text, and it is a phone-in show, not a texting show. Don't bother tweeting or texting. It's much better if you phone in. I don't really like texts. No, Mal's bottled it. I'll read it, but... Ian, the worst thing to be in Britain is Northern Irish. We feel British, but it seems the rest of Britain sees us as a thorn in their side and does not want us. And the Republic of Ireland sees us as a problem they don't want to take on. Ian, you should feel very lucky. You get to have a choice. I don't know what that means. A choice? A choice about what? What am I choosing? What am I choosing? What am I... Mal, I don't understand the... You have as much choice as I have. We could all choose. Countries are pointless. They're so old-fashioned, aren't they? Let's get rid of countries. We nearly did it with Europe. We nearly got rid of countries. Then we blew it. We blew it. Let's get rid of countries. I don't feel English. What is that? I don't get the pride thing. Pride with English, but then when Andy Murray wins something, I'm British. I'm supposed to feel proud about that. Oh, by the way, tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Oh, Voice of the Beehive. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Also, we recorded an interview today with Galt McDermott, the gentleman who wrote the music for the musical Hair. It's, he's very old. And he's very old, and I was warned he was very old and very forgetful, and I would ask him a question, he'd say, I don't remember. And his son Vince, who's got to be in his 60s, would step in and say, well, Dad, do you remember this? And he'd go, oh, yeah. But it was lovely, really lovely interview, and we'll play that out later this week. Really charming gentleman, and Vince was delightful as well. We'll play that later on, as you know, I'm obsessed with the musical Hair. So me and Catherine went to the pictures today, just because we did this interview with Galt McDermott at 11 a.m. New York time. Oh, by the way, they've invited us for a coffee when we go to New York, if we have time. But I'll have time to take my CDs and get it signed. So which was 4 o'clock our time, and then we had nothing to do for 6 hours. So we went and saw a film, and the only film that we could kind of get tickets for that was a time that we could go and see the film and get back and it wouldn't be too much of a rush, was a film that I had seen the trailer for, and I thought the trailer looked pony. The film was called Ghost in the Shell. And it's really interesting, isn't it, how sometimes a trailer can be really misleading. Which it wasn't in this case. It was bloody awful. It was awful. The only good things about it were Juliette Binoche was in it as old Juliette Binoche. Still. Old Juliette Binoche is better than no Binoche. And really old Beat Takeshi Kitano, the Japanese director and actor. And of course, Takeshi's Castle is based on him. It's him. If you've never seen a Beat Takeshi film, oh man, proper messed up Japanese stuff. What's the film he does where he's a cop? Remember, it was a big film when I was at college. He's a cop, like a psychopathic cop. Anyway, he was in it. And they were the only good things. It was an absolute stinker. What was the Cockney girl? Well, she wasn't a Cockney girl. She was obviously quite a posh actress, but she said nothing. At one point, she actually said nothing. Nothing. Well, I ain't seen nothing. And it was awful. Terribly written. And I know it's based on a Japanese, I'm going to say cartoon. I don't know if there's anime nonsense. Japanese cartoon. I didn't, well, I understood it. And it was just cliche ridden and pointless. And it looked like, someone was trying to update Blade Runner. Well, you don't need to. They've just updated Blade Runner themselves. It's called Blade Runner 2, Blade Runner. I think that's what it's called. I'm not totally sure if that's the correct title. It was just so long and dull and tedious and drawn out. The Matrix with tits, I described it as. I'm not really human. I'm a robot. I'm a human. Boring. An old man got up an hour into it and walked out, and I was thinking, yeah, good for you. But I just realised the tickets were expensive, and we had nowhere to go. So we were just sat there watching this terrible, terrible movie. Awful. Waste of everybody's time involved. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give me a call. I don't feel English, and I don't see why I should. I feel no national pride. I feel no sense of pride. It's luck, happen chance, circumstance. The fact that my parents did it in London and then gave birth to me just outside of London. So what? I should feel pride for Slough, where I was born. I should feel pride for London. I should feel proud in my county, Berkshire. And we do. We break it down, don't we? Inter-county athletics. Berkshire versus Hertfordshire. Come on, Berkshire. What? Because of the county? I should feel proud because the southeast versus the southwest. It's all made up. It's all nonsense. It's all complete and utter rollocks. It's made up. And it can be used for bad. It can be used by people like, I don't know, Nigel Farage and Katie Hopkins, Abu Hopkins, as I like to call her. These hate preachers. They're hate preachers. And they use your false sense of national pride, of pride in England, of pride in Great Britain. They use that to further their careers. And I don't get why people have fallen for it. I've not fallen for it. I've fallen for other things, probably. My sense, again, this Will Storr book, and I won't go into it now because it's really complicated, right? But let me just say this to blow your mind. Right? So blow your mind, okay? And then when Will comes on, I'll get him to explain it, okay? This will blow your mind. There is a school of thought amongst a growing number of scientists that we have no free will. Boom. Let's let that sit with you. Let that sink into your brain. We have no free will. We are zombies going around doing things. As we are doing them and after we have done them, our brain makes up a narrative. Our brain creates a narrative to justify why we're doing these things. My brain is now making up a narrative as to why I've just leant forward to the microphone, opened my hands, and why I'm telling you this. It's just happening. It's just happening. Imagine that! Such a good book. 0344 499 1000. Yes, Cleo?
Mate, I love the fact that things might be just happening and we haven't really got a great deal of control.
Yeah, we haven't got any control.
I love it, and it's like, I live in a town, right, yes, where in the 80s, it was extremely tribal.
Yes.
Like, violent.
Yes.
And it was all based around, we had three coal mines,
yes,
different areas of the town. And, like, the gangs of kids up to the age of sort of, like, 16, they were all very tribal, like even bus stop. There are like gangs at each bus stop, and
Hey, hang on, each bus stop had a different gang.
Yeah,
that is brilliant. That is brilliant. I want to be in a bus stop gang.
As a kid, being like a young kid, it was great to watch because it was like a movie.
Yeah.
In your own town, but every weekend they'd go hammer and tongs and beat 10 pounds of crap out of each other. They'd like literally plan.
Yeah.
Let's go and meet up and we'll see you on the field and we'll what? I was like, what the hell's going on? And I've never ever felt that sort of tribal.
Maybe, you know, we talked about. I've mentioned loneliness on here and being lonely, and I haven't got that many friends, and it's partly because I've been an arse in my life, but also I think maybe it's that I don't really identify with many people. I don't identify with being English. I don't identify with supporting Chelsea. I don't identify with, you know, going down to the pub as being a good time. I don't identify with a lot of things, you know.
Do you know who I identify with? People like you who don't identify with.
There we go. You see
tribal things, and it's like it's quite odd. All me mates, I've got lots of friends, but they're all like me, and it's weird. We get called like during the EU referendum, like where I live was about 90% leave, and I was totally Remain.
Yeah,
my family never vote for anything ever. Never get involved in politics. My poor little mum in a wheelchair never ever voted for years and years and years. They wheeled out of there. Bloody polling station, and they voted to leave, and they didn't know anything about the EU. Now, all these mines I mentioned earlier, when they were closed down, the EU pretty much regenerated the whole town. It was all like European money.
Well, it's like Cornwall and the places in Wales that got huge EU subsidies, and they voted to leave, and they're saying, but do we still get that money from the EU? No. Oh, no one told us that. Well, you should have researched it. Hey, Cleo, here's the thing. You tweeted me saying, why don't I get Melanie on the show? Guess what?
You're not.
No, she was on about 3 months ago, you muppet.
Was she?
Yes.
Is it available online?
Somewhere. Go and speak to Matty Steve 093. I can't remember his name. No, what? Go and speak to Matthew Stevenson on Twitter. It'll be somewhere.
I will do.
We had Melanie on. It was a very flaky interview. She was a delightful. I don't want to say space cadet, but she was. I suspect she'd been to the moon and was almost back.
I was just going to mention the moon. Where are you now? Do you have good weather in London?
What do you mean? Do we have good weather in London? What
Is
now?
It like clear outside? Yeah, right now.
Yes.
Can you see the moon?
No, because I'm inside a studio, you muppet.
Well, can you open your little blinds and have a look?
No, I can't because it's over there. I don't think we can see the moon from here anyway.
Well, the thing is, that's my point.
Yes.
How can you look up at that?
Yes.
And be at all trivialised by stupid little gangs and tribes and another one of them?
But you know, my stupid indoctrination will manifest itself in a different way. That, you know, I'm kind of saying I don't feel English and I don't feel British and I don't understand why but I will have my own little weird idiosyncrasies that have been handed down to me from my parents, my own little tribal things that look a bit stupid.
Mate, I've had periods. I was in the air cadets. So, I was very... So that was more like one, I was obsessed with aircraft.
Yes.
But two, I think it was like more of a community thing. I became a warrant officer. I taught people how to kill with guns, basically. And it was all literally behind the flag and all that stuff. And
yes.
But I've never ever felt sort of. Do you know what? It sounds weird. It sounds very cheesy. This.
Say it, Claire. Say it.
Live Aid.
What?
Right. When I was a kid.
What? You've never felt Live Aid?
Yeah, it's going to get there. When I was a kid,
we'll finish at one.
When I was watching the Ethiopian crisis.
Yes.
And all these kids, and everyone was making jokes, really bad, awful, racist jokes, and I couldn't stand them.
Yes.
And I used to ask my dad. My dad was very religious.
Yes.
He was in the Salvation Army. And I used to say, right, if God is good, and we're all here because God put us here, why is he letting that happen? Why is he letting these people die? And he didn't have an answer.
Oh, I have the answer. I know the answer to that. It's free will. God has given us free will. No, more Christian. If you're a Christian, you get asked that question. Here's the comeback. You say, well, God has given us free will and has left it in our hands to, we have enough food, we have enough water, we have enough money and resources on this planet to stop that happening. It's us that's allowing that to happen.
Bless him, me old dad. He's dead now, but he said, God works in mysterious ways. And I was like, what sort of cop-out is that?
Here's the answer. It's because we've got free will. God has given us free will.
But then, as I say, Live Aid...
Yes.
I was 9, 7, 8, 9, or 9 something. It was like a ball in the head. Humans make the change.
There we go. You see? That's the answer, Christians. It's a good answer. It's a flawed answer, but it's a good... I'd make a good Christian arguing the point of God. Thinks. All right, tomorrow we'll do that. I'm going to argue that there is a God. Can we do that, Catherine? Shall I record a trail for you now? If I record it, can you clip it off? Okay. I'm just going to record a live trail. So let's have a break. When we come back, I need a little think about what I'm going to say. When we come back, boom, going to do a trail. It's going to get clipped, be played on the radio tomorrow.
The radio show for people who know the best part of the day is the night.
Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Get rid of the music. Here we go. Press record and play, Catherine. Here we go. Comes your trail for tomorrow. God is great. God is love. And God is real. I have evidence that proves the Lord God himself is real. Listen to the show tonight for the facts. Boom. There you go. That's how you do a trail, guys. That's how you do it. Got to come up with some facts now. It'll be fun. We'll do that tomorrow. That'll be fun. After Voice of the Beehive tomorrow at 10. Back to tonight's show. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. By the way, we're talking about this stuff. And we're getting new callers and new listeners every night, and it's brilliant. I'm getting new emails and people on Twitter saying, "Oh, I'm really loving the show, digging the show." You can call in about anything, okay? We tend to steer away from the racist hate speech. If you want that, there's a radio station called LBC. But you can call in with pretty much anything you want. I'm just doing this thing. I don't feel English just because it popped into my head today because of the book I'm reading, because of the excellent but far too short Alan Bennett audio CDs. Very, very short. But very chucklesome, but very, very short. And that quote in there, English, well, I can't remember it. I'll find it in a minute. But I got it. And I thought, oh, he's so succinctly described what I've been feeling for years and been unable to put my finger on. I'm not English. Don't feel English. I don't know what it means. I don't have any patriotic ties to this country. You know, we've done some good things. We've done some lousy things. But I feel neither pride nor shame in any of those things. I feel they're not connected with me. And all this nonsense about Gibraltar, and it's getting all very jingoistic, and all the papers are kind of, tub thumping and we're up yours, signors, and, Kelvin Mackenzie, Jesus, it's a terrible human being, but he called the Spanish donkey shaggers. I mean, that's what we're that's patriotism, is it? No, that's stupidity. That's stupidity, arrogance and ignorance. That's what that is. But we're supposed to feel proud and protective of a small island. I don't even know where Gibraltar is. I'm guessing it's near Spain. It's like that brilliant bit in Adrian Mole. You remember the bit in Adrian Mole when Adrian Mole bursts into his dad and says, Dad, wake up! The Falklands have been invaded. And his dad jumps up and starts putting his trousers on. What? Puts his trousers on. Right, quick, right, get your mum. Okay, well, let's meet downstairs. And then he goes, where is the Falklands? It's off the coast of Argentina. Oh, I thought it was near Scotland. It's brilliant. So we're supposed to feel pride and protective of the people in Gibraltar. What? Because I don't know where it is. I don't know the history of it. I'm guessing the history is 300 years ago. We won it, we traded it, we invaded it and we kept it, or we bought it, but countries would buy land. Why, Louisiana, right, in America and parts of New Orleans, right? That there's a lot of French spoken there and a lot of French food there. You know why? The French used to own it. The French used to own Louisiana. They used to own it. And then they sold it to the Americans. America used to be owned by all these... we used to own a big chunk of it, but it used to be owned by all these different countries. And eventually, America either fought and reclaimed it, or bought it. The Louisiana land grab. The Americans bought Louisiana off the French. It's weird, isn't it? It's why... South America, some places in South America, they speak Dutch, and in some African places, they speak French, and it's just crazy. We're supposed to feel pride and protective about these places. I don't feel anything for the people in Gibraltar. I don't feel anything for the people in the Falklands. I don't feel anything for the people in this country, other than the love I feel for my fellow human beings. Here we go. Catherine knows. So this is Gibraltar, is it? So the Dutch, us and the Dutch captured it in 1704. The Spanish ceded it to us in 1713. About 300 years, almost 300 years to the day. Look at that, you see. A lot of stuff was going on in the late 1600s, early 1700s in terms of land and the Dutch and the English primarily, the Spanish to a certain extent, but going all over the place and go, we'll have it. We'll have it. We'll have that. You can have that. We'll have that. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Dennis is in Dunstable. Good evening, Dennis.
Good evening. Why are you being so unpatriotic? I went and served some time in the Navy looking after people like you.
What have I said that's unpatriotic?
You said you don't feel English.
That's not unpatriotic. That's a fact.
Of course it is.
Well, tell me how saying I don't feel English is unpatriotic.
Because I went in the forces to look after people like you.
And I appreciate the sacrifice that you...
I'm English and I'm proud of it.
Okay, I appreciate the sacrifice that you and your peers made. Genuinely, I appreciate it and thank you for that. But me saying... You fought for the right for me to say I don't feel English.
Right. Please yourself.
No, you fought for my freedom, yeah?
Of course I did.
So I have the freedom...
To say you're not English?
No, to say I don't feel English.
Well, that's all right.
But you've suddenly got angry and saying it's unpatriotic.
Go to Scotland and see if you feel Scottish. You never know, you might feel a Scot. I'll tell you what, you talk about the Yanks, they bought the Yukon. They bought...
literally, no, they've got no idea what you're talking about now, and you're going off on a tangent. Why is it unpatriotic to say I don't feel English?
Why is it unpatriotic? Because everybody's fought for people like you. Anyway, I'm not talking to you anymore. Good night.
That was the sound, dear listener, of someone who didn't have an argument. Now, I like Dennis, and genuinely, I'm appreciative of anybody that fought in the name of freedom. But Dennis didn't have an argument there. It's unpatriotic to say I don't feel English. But why? Why is it? It's not. It's not. But I don't feel patriotic towards this country. Why should I? It's just a fluke. It's just, I was that lucky seed that my dad shot up, and I could have been born anywhere. I was born here. I've got it better than some people, worse than others. Why should I feel patriotic? Patriotism is a nonsense. It's a nonsense. It's a myth. And the sooner that we see through that, then the sooner people like Abu Hopkins and Nigel Farage and Boris Johnson and Donald Trump and all of these other, and Abu Hamza and all of these other hate preachers, as soon as we see through that, the better off we'll be. The reason you're a Christian? Probably because you were born here. You know, the reason that Muslims, because they were born in countries that are predominantly Muslim, or they come over here, and they have children and they bring them up in the faith. If you were a Christian and you moved to Pakistan, you'd bring up your kids as Christians. But you can't be a Christian in Pakistan. Yes, you can. There's loads of churches over there. But you get flogged for it. No, you don't. Unless you get caught out by some dodgepots. It's all fluke. It's all luck. And we're all fighting each other when really countries are meaningless. The borders are meaningless. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late night conversation worth losing sleep over.
Iain Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Yesterday, I did the first lawn mow of the year. I hate mowing the lawn. Of all the jobs in all the world, that is my least favourite. And about 2 years ago, we're lucky enough we've got an all right sized garden. And about 2 years ago, our lawnmower died, and my wife bought another lawnmower, but she bought a small one. It's a fly mow, and it's got on the top of it is like the thing that captures the grass, but it's really small. And because it was the first mow of the year, I calculated it would take me about 25 trips to the end of the garden, because we've got like a compost heap. We don't do anything with it. We just put something in it. It would take me about 25 trips of mowing the lawn, take that, empty it, go back, mowing the lawn, to dispose of it. And after 2 trips, I thought, right, I've had enough of this. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to hack into the lawnmower. And by that, what I meant was I'm going to go and buy a bigger lawnmower. Stuff this. I'm going to go and buy a bigger lawnmower. This lawnmower is too small for our lawn. It will take forever, and I hate it. So I then spent 3 hours driving around trying to find a place that sold a lawnmower. But guess what? Because it's the first sunny day of the year, everybody else, all the lawnmowers are gone. And then I was looking online, and then I just thought, I've got to suck it up. I've got to suck it up and just mow the lawn with this tiny lawnmower. I hated it. I was getting a headache. I had to stop halfway through and have a lie down. It felt awful. And the thing is, I don't get why we have to do this social convention of mowing the lawn. It'll need to be cut again next week. It needs to be cut again next week. Hate it. Can't you, can we some people get their lawns replaced with, AstroTurf. I'm tempted to do that. And you're right, Kath. I saw a fella then washing his car. What? Why would you not spend a £5 and go through the automatic car wash? I remember I used to have to wash my dad's car as a kid. I hate it. It took hours. You get the chamois leather. Why would you do that? Why not just drive through the car wash, for crying out loud? But one good thing I discovered. I went to the gym twice this weekend as well. 0344 499 1000. I went to the gym twice. I went and did a 45-minute circuits class on the Saturday. And on the Sunday, after I'd walked the dog for an hour, after I'd mown the lawn, I went and did a 30-minute abs class with Inga. Now, Inga is mental. And she, the warm-up, I was knackered and thinking I was going to puke. And she did some amazing things to my legs, to the point where my legs weren't hurting, right? It wasn't the pain. I felt the burn for the first time on Saturday. I felt the burn. I know what the burn is. I felt the burn. You ever felt the burn? The burn on the arms when you're working the muscles on the arm. Burns. But on the Sunday, it was abs. So there was a lot of lying down and lifting your legs up and keeping your legs lifted up whilst contorting your body or your legs in all different ways. It's awful. And I didn't feel any burn or any pain. I just didn't. After about 10 minutes, I couldn't feel anything. My legs were just gone. And simple exercise like lifting we had to put a bottle of water by our feet, and we had to lift our legs up and put them on the left of the water, then lift them over to the right, then lift them back over to the left and not touch the floor. I couldn't lift my leg. I could not get my legs off the ground. And I was looking at them and thinking, get up. And I couldn't lift them off the ground. And Inga starts shouting at me. I said, I'm trying. You're not trying hard enough. I said, I'm trying. They won't obey me. My legs won't obey me. And I staggered out of the class, doing my darndest to look focused and relaxed, to look like I had enjoyed it and I was feeling a glow. I wasn't. I thought I was going to puke and I couldn't walk properly. And I got into the car and I sat there for a couple of minutes. And then I tried to drive the car. I couldn't lift my left leg up. I could not lift my left leg up to put it on the clutch. The right leg, I could just about get that onto the accelerator. Just about. But I couldn't get the left leg onto the clutch. I had to lift it up with my arms to put it on the clutch and then ride the clutch the whole journey home. I could sort of lift it up so the clutch was only depressed a bit. Then I'd press it down to change gear, then sort of lift it up. I was riding the clutch like it was my first ever time drive. And then I couldn't get out of the car. This is no exaggeration, right? No exaggeration. I could not get out of the car. So I managed to get my right leg out. For some reason, my right leg was all right. I got my right leg out, and I had to lift my left leg out of the car. It was awful. And then I went and collapsed on the sofa. Honestly, I have never felt anything like it. It was the most... And I was sort of trying to enjoy the feeling because I knew it would wear off. It's worn off a little bit today, although putting my trousers on and driving again were actually a real struggle. They test you now for drug driving. Forget that, man. Test for gym driving. Have you just come from a heavy workout at the gym? Are you normally unfit? Did you work your legs? Yes? Well then, sir, you shouldn't be driving a car. That's what they should do. None of this, have you been smoking cannabis? Have you been to the gym? Did you do a load of squats? Yes? Well, then you shouldn't be driving, sir. You need to leave it 24 hours before you can get behind the wheel of a car. But it was, and you know, I'm really trying to lose weight. And I've been doing so well. A month or so ago, 5 weeks ago, I was 16 stone 7. 16 stone 7, right? And this is mainly through medication, through the mirtazapine, the antidepressant, anti-anxiety drug I'm on. It means you put on a lot of weight. And my psych changed me from the citalopram to the venlafaxine, I think it is, which works a little bit better with the mirtazapine in terms of weight and feeling hungry and things like that. And it does, actually. It's a much better combination. So the 16.7 was really heavy. I think I used to be 14-something, towards the higher end of 14. I'm not totally sure, as I never used to weigh myself. But then I got it down to 15.8. Then I got it down to 15.5. And then at one point, I think I was as low as 15 stone 2. And I thought, oh, goody, 15 stone 2. In a week, I'm going to be under 15 stone. In a week, I'm going to be under 15 stone. I'm going to see the 14, even if it's 14.12, beautiful. But then I weighed myself after a weekend of eating very little. And the kids we went to see a play, and the kids had souvlaki. There was a market selling all this amazing food, including souvlaki. I love souvlaki. And all I had was 2 bites of it. And I said, no, I won't have one. I'll have what they've got left. I'll have 2 bites, and that was it. So I'd hardly eaten. I'd been to the gym twice. I'd walked the dog for an hour. I'd mown the lawn. I thought, I'm going to be close. I'm going to be close to 15 stone, or maybe even lighter. I'd gone up to 15 stone 8 again. I couldn't believe it. And those of you who follow me on Twitter will have seen I had a wobble on Twitter last night, because it's the one thing that really gets to me. And I had a little bit of a meltdown. I'm trying to post less personal stuff on Twitter, but I kind of went for it last night. 15 stone 8. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was so gutted. And everyone says, weigh yourself at the same time. I do. I weigh myself before I go to bed, and I weigh myself in the morning after I've had a poo. I'm a couple of pounds heavier in the evening than I am in the morning. But 15 stone 8. I couldn't believe it. And I bet tonight when I weigh myself, I'll be heavier. I bet. I don't know, but I feel fat, man. I don't. That's not what I want. Anyway, I'm rambling, dear listener. You may want to call in about this stuff. You may want to call in about absolutely nothing. You know how it works. We've sat here and discussed. Do you feel English? Do you agree with Dennis that it's unpatriotic of me to say I don't feel English? I don't feel British. I don't think it's dishonouring anybody who gave their lives. They fought for the freedom for us to kick around ideas like this, didn't they? So I don't think it's unpatriotic. But even if it were, so what? So what? What is patriotism? What is patriotism? And if we're asking what is patriotism, what is being unpatriotic? It's nothing. It's indoctrination. It's brainwashing. It's what we get taught from school. The Americans have it more, of course, because in American schools, in quite a lot of them still, they have to stand up and salute the flag. They have to stand up and salute the flag. And any mistreatment of the stars and stripes is a criminal offence. You know, any mistreatment of the stars and stripes is considered, it's basically the same as having a dump on the president. It is. It's considered to be an awful thing. And in a lot of schools, primary schools, well, Catherine's saying he likes that. We have yet to see the video evidence. And I think it was urine as opposed to scat. I think it was the golden showers as opposed to scat. Just if for legal reasons, I have to clarify that. You know, and primary schools, they will have to stand up and salute the flag. Control. It's all about control and submission. That's what patriotism is. It's meaningless. It's blind. It's dumb. I'm going to say, if you're patriotic, you're dumb. You've been brainwashed. You need to open your eyes. If you're cheering the England football team, if you're cheering the English sports team or Great Britain, Team GB as it was in the Olympics, if you support every battle our military get into, while I have respect for the military, of course I do, I wish them all well. I don't support every battle that they get involved with. If you blindly support every battle they get involved in, that's dumb, isn't it? Isn't it? 0344 499 1000. Late nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Unmissable late night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation.
Make contact with Iain Lee.
Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Although it's gone quiet on the phones. Don't know why that is. Give it other music, please. I don't know why it's gone quiet on the phones. Catherine, is it your fault? Are you being rude to the callers when they come on? Well, that's... Why don't you come in and join me, Catherine? Josh can answer the phones if people want to call in. You can do. If not, we'll just sit. Oh, I tell you what we'll do. Let's have a little chitty chat. Catherine, come and sit over here, please. And let us see how much we can reveal about what's happening on our trip to New York. Okay. So why don't you set up what we're doing and when we are doing it? This is to see if you've been paying attention.
Right, so we're going to be there from the 12th, is that right?
Of what month? You just said...
June.
Yes, until
the following Friday.
Until the Friday of that week.
Yeah.
The following Friday to me says the week after.
Okay, well...
So June...
I might stay.
Monday, June the 12th to Friday, June the 16th, we're going to be in NYC. That's New York City.
We've got in touch with some of our favourite people out there.
Yeah.
And we're going to go and see them.
Yeah.
And they're going to take us to some of their favourite hangouts.
The thing is, because these are very busy people.
Yeah.
They're not 100% because they've said, yes, well, if I'm in town, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
But Imani Coppola lives there.
Yeah.
So we're going to have lunch with her. Steve Guttenberg lives there. Steve Guttenberg's coming on the show on Thursday. That's exciting. I love Steve Guttenberg.
I've got his phone number in my diary.
Man alive, he's so cool. But if he's around in New York, we're going to meet him. There are a couple of other people, kind of quite big names, that we are hoping Nav.
And there are also some amazing characters that we're going to catch up with, like I said, some of our favourite podcasters.
Yes. The Bowery Boys, who do a brilliant podcast, who kind of do all this grim history of New York. We're meeting up with them, which is very exciting.
And I've written to a couple of guys who they've been trying to improve life for the homeless.
Yes.
In a very 2017 way.
Yes.
Well, they've made
hologram houses for them.
No, they've made shelters. You know, like they had them. I think was it in Ireland that they'd made them, and they look like kind of big. You know, the sort of salt boxes they use at the side of the road.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My boys are fascinated by the salt boxes.
They've made kind of bigger versions of them, more like a coal bunker. Like what my grandma used to have.
Gosh.
And it's somewhere, you know, if you're sleeping on the street, it's just somewhere where you're inside. Except they've made one that's got Wi-Fi.
Oh.
And it's on wheels so they can move it around.
We're also meeting, if you go Tiny Hats NYC on Instagram, Tiny Hats NYC, it's these guys who go around taking pictures of people wearing tiny hats.
Yeah.
So we're meeting with them. We're meeting our friend Amanda Nazario, who's been on this show at WFMU.
Which is an amazing community-run radio station.
Kenny Kramer, who Kramer is based on in Seinfeld. You know, if you know Kramer, right? He was based on a real person, a real friend of Larry David's, a guy called Kenny Kramer, and he does these Seinfeld tours. And I've been on the Seinfeld tour with him years ago, but we're going to meet him, and I'm hoping he's going to take us to the diner that's in Seinfeld. You know, when you see the outside of the diner, that's a real place, and I'm hoping he's going to take us there. That's just some of the people what we have got lined up. And we haven't even started really in terms of emailing people and getting in touch. So here's how you can help. We don't want your money. It's a jolly. All right. I'm paying for it. Hopefully we're going to get a couple of quid from the bosses here. We'll see, but I'm paying for it. Okay. But imagine asking the listeners to fund a jolly for us to the United States.
That would be barefaced cheek.
That would be crazy. And if we did, we would put up the figures and everything and show everyone where the money had gone. But we're not asking you for money. Not asking you for money at all. We're going to be doing the show live from New York for between 10 and 1 UK time. It's 5 and 8, I think, New York time. So what we need from you, dear listener, and we've got Sam on the line, I'll go to her in a minute. What we need from you is, if you listen to podcasts, that you, please be, because we've had lots of people saying, oh, you should get such and such and such and such, and then I've done some research and they live in Los Angeles or Boston or something. So if you listen to a podcast that is recorded in New York City, and obviously, if it's like the Whoopi Goldberg podcast, the chances of us getting Whoopi Goldberg are slim. But if it's kind of a niche but good podcast, then let me know. Send me a link and let me have a little listen.
If you're going to do that on Twitter, please don't at them.
Yes, don't at them.
That can lead to embarrassment for all.
Yeah, no, don't do that. That is awkward. You can message us on Twitter, or you can at Iain at IainLee.com. Iain at IainLee.com is the best way to do it. If you live in New York and you have good internet, could we come and do the show from your house one day? That's a genuine thing. We want to do it in a different location each day. We've got one place sorted, definitely. It's the studios at WFMU. But we need 4 other places. So if you live in New York, or you've got a friend or a relative in New York, they need good internet that we can plug our machine into. We'd love to come and do the show from their house. All we've got is a little box, and it'll be the 2 of us, and you can bring friends. You can bring an audience if you want.
We won't be inviting a load of people traipsing through your flat.
No. It'll just be the 2 of us and our box of tricks that we plug into your internet. But you want to invite friends, you want to invite neighbours, of course you can do that. That'll be brilliant. Also, if you know of any sort of little cafes or bars that we could do the show from, again, they need to have good internet we can plug into and be free, because I say, this is all coming off my credit card. I haven't got a credit card, it's a debit card, so I'm paying for it outright. Then that would be awesome. Iain at IainLee.com, if you wouldn't mind. Now, I'm glad Sam's called in, because Sam texted in earlier on. Let me read the text and then we'll go to Sam. Sam said, Iain, I feel so Welsh.
Don't.
That I have shivers and butterflies in my stomach when I hear the Welsh national anthem. I feel so proud to be Welsh. Well, Sam's called in. Sam, first of all, is that a good representation of your accent?
You sounded quite Indian then.
So do you. You sound Pakistani. What do you mean? You get butterflies and shivers in your stomach when you hear the Welsh national anthem? What are you talking about?
I do. I can't help it. Whenever I hear it, I get that flies, honest to God.
That's brainwashing. You've been brainwashed.
No, I really do. And there's a particular moment that caught me the most was when Scott Quinnell went to the train station in London and just started singing the national anthem, and loads of choirs started coming behind him. And, oh my gosh, I was nearly in tears.
Well, choirs are quite stirring anyway, and that is an emotional response to a very powerful kind of voice. Josh, can you get the phone, please? Dennis is phoning in to have another pop. But the fact that you get it stirs you and it causes you to feel pride. That's indoctrination. That's brainwashing.
I don't think so.
No, brainwashed people don't think that they are brainwashed.
Yeah, well, maybe, but I just feel really happy with who I am and where I come from.
But why? So so you feel Welsh?
Yeah, extremely well.
But what does that mean? What does that mean to feel Welsh? That's not a trick question. I know it's quite a vague question that's hard to answer. But if you could have a go, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I think being Welsh we're a very sort of strange community. Granted, but I know this is going to sound a little bit mad, but because all Welsh people are quite patriotic, that makes me patriotic.
Well, hang on a second. You can't say all Welsh people are quite patriotic.
Okay, well, as a nation, quite a few of us then are patriotic, and that sort of sense and that feeling does sort of rub off.
So because an unknown number of people are patriotic, that makes you patriotic.
Yes,
but that doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, it does, because obviously, when I'm still quite young at the minute, but obviously my elders and people before me, family members, they've brought me up to feel proud of where I come from.
Well, what are you proud of?
I'm proud of the way that we handle things. I'm proud of our police. I'm proud of, our...
But what's different from your police and the police in America, or the police in India, or the police in China? What's the difference?
Well, I wouldn't say that there's particularly any... Well, I wouldn't know, because I don't live there.
Right, so I don't understand how you can feel proud about the Welsh police.
Well, that was just an example.
Give us another one. Give us a better one.
Okay, I feel proud that as a nation... Oh, gosh, I can't even think now.
Yeah, because there isn't anything. There isn't. It's brainwashing, and I'm saying this with love and respect. It's brainwashing. It's indoctrination.
I've got a theory.
Go on.
I've got a theory. I think I lived with a Welsh girl for a year, and very, very proud to be Welsh. And I think there's a level of feeling like they've got to battle to assert their identity because they've been on the back foot in history. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah,
but why? I don't understand why that engenders a sense of pride.
Because it's about a level of security.
Well, no, but that's got nothing to do with pride.
Yeah, but it has, though. It has.
You've not given me one example, Sam, of what of something that is uniquely Welsh that you can feel proud of.
God, it's not a tangible thing. It's a feeling. It's a sense. It's something that I feel, whether it's indoctrination or not. I feel it.
Okay, but if it were indoctrination, which it is, then that would mean it's pointless and it's meaningless and it's for submission and control.
Well, even if it is, it doesn't hurt. It brings us together.
Put your hands up if you're an individual. Everyone puts their hand up. Sam, thank you very much. I just want to squeeze Dennis in again. He wants round two. Yes, Dennis, you're going to do another hit and run?
No. I'm wondering, how can you afford to go to America after you've paid my 30 quid?
Well, I don't think you're going to make it.
I'm going to make, please, because I want you to, when you decide, already you have told everybody in the country,
yes,
you're going to pay it.
Yes.
If I make it, I want that to go to a charity.
Oh, for goodness sake!
I want it to me.
Stick up your arse. Now, 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. It was interesting what Sam was saying, but it's confabulation. It's making up a story to fit, something that she has done and she has said, but it didn't make any sense whatsoever, did it? There's another hour. We can do more of this. We can do some other bits and pieces. It's entirely up to you, dear listener. But do give me a call, 0344 499 1000. Don't forget to tick your radio diaries. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Talk Radio.
Is there a doctor in the house? I'll tell you why. My elbow, I don't know what is going on, But I am in absolute agony with my flipping elbow. Is this what tennis elbow is? 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. We call... Oh, flip it. I can see Paul in Stoke Poge is ringing in. Oh, dear.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
He has made a covenant with the night, and with the darkness he is in agreement.
Uncut, after-hours conversation for the up-all-night generation. Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Honestly, there's something going on with my elbow, and I noticed it about 2 weeks ago. I put it down on the desk here, as I am wont to do, and got this shooting pain. I mean, agony, right up my arm. And I thought, oh, that's bad. I won't do that again. And then it's just as over the weeks, it's got worse to the point now. If I touch it, it's there. What the flipping hell is it? What the hell is that? It's there.
Katie can help you with that.
Oh, Katie, what the hell is it?
Hello. It's horrible, isn't it?
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah, well, I've had it recently, and basically, but I'm not. You know, you guess that tennis elbow is due to sports or repetitive stuff. I'm definitely not sporty.
It's my left arm as well, so it's not due to repetitive stuff.
Well, mine was mine was my right arm,
Well.
and so if you can, right? Okay, is anybody with you right now?
Catherine's here.
Yeah.
Okay, Catherine.
Yeah.
Put your hand out, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And Ian,
yes,
your hand over hers.
Of the injured
Catherine
arm.
is going to push your hand up, okay? So you're going to resist that.
And I sit down, do I? All right, yes. Okay.
Right, but resist that. So Catherine, pushing your hand up, you resist that.
Yes.
Does that hurt?
No.
Okay. Now do the opposite way. So resist it and push your hand down.
So hang on, I'm pushing down.
Yeah, and she's going to push her hand up.
No, you're pushing up. You're pushing up.
Yeah.
Right, go. Right, now push.
That's hurting me.
Just push, you're not even pushing. Yeah, that hurts.
Does that hurt you?
Yes, it does.
Right, so you've got tennis elbow.
Oh, sweet Lord.
Oh, sweet Lord.
So what does that mean?
Well, it means, I don't know, basically there's something in between.
It means, I don't know. All right, okay, brilliant.
Is it rheumatism?
No, it's nothing to do with that, weirdly, because I've got arthritis. Arthritis.
Oh, stop showing off, Katie.
She's got everything.
And then it's just this straight. But I'm not sporty. I don't do anything like regularly. But I play the piano quite a lot. I teach piano, so it's something as simple as that.
What's the cure? Please tell me there's a tablet I can take.
Well, apparently you can. Look on the internet, and it's fine because I used to do that, and I just thought, I was dying, and it was the worst thing I did. But I went to the doctors, I left it for ages and ages. So, literally lifting the kettle up was getting a problem.
Oh, no.
I know. It might be fine, but sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. But the worst-case scenario is...
They chopped my arm off! Jesus!
Yeah, I know. Yeah, both of them. It's awful.
God, yes.
You might have to go to the doctors and get an injection into the muscle.
Oh, no.
To the bone.
No.
Well, no, honestly, listen, Ian, it's fine. It's fine. Well, it hurts, but it's not, it's not
They
that
inject into the spot where it hurts?
bad. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can see that going well.
But it's fine, and I was really scared. I'm quite,
And did it think, what are they injecting in, steroids or something?
Yeah, it's a steroid, yeah.
Whoa, I'll go.
Does that mean he's going to get muscly?
Big balls.
I was saying, that's what I said to my doctor. I had no idea.
But does that cure it, or does that just get rid of it for a few months?
No, so it depends how bad it is. So I had my injection 2 weeks ago. It bloody hurts. And I said, oh, that's fine. He said, is it hurting? I said, yeah, it's fine. He said, well, it's not actually to the bone yet. I was like, oh, thanks for that. Yes, it really does hurt. But your elbow inflames a little bit, and it takes about a week and a half after that, and it's fine. I've been doing some sewing today and some gardening, and it's great.
But what? So is it like a nerve or something that's gone rogue?
It's just, basically, it's just this repetitive whatever we do.
I'm not doing anything. Well, could it be from playing Xbox?
Yes.
Yes.
Could it be?
Oh, yeah, it could be that.
Oh,
An excessive laptopping.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's something as simple as that. So it'll either. How long have you had it for?
About 3 weeks.
Okay, so I had mine started in kind of early December, and then it got worse for like 3 months. So it might just go. That's what they say. It might just go and be one of those things. But my left arm started now.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
How old are you, Katie?
I'm 42.
So we're similar age. Oh God.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
We're falling apart. This is terrible,
isn't it?
Oh.
I've got my son today. We've been playing and stuff and doing gardening and stuff. But you know, there's that age when you get...
Josh, can you get the phones, please? Keep your eye on the phones, and by the phones, I mean the ones here at Talk Radio, not yours. Sorry, yes.
What?
Sorry, because we've got people filling in for Ed. And
I was just talking about, the age thing that you get, and you get up off a couch and you go, oh.
Yeah. Oh, well, I caught my boys doing that about a year ago. My boys, as they'd sit down and get up, they go, ooh. I said, what are you doing? They said, we're just copying you, Daddy. I thought...
That's it. It's terrifying. But we've got to that age. But anyway, good luck with your tennis elbow. But apparently...
Yes.
Interesting fact of the day, the left arm, if there's two different, there's tennis elbow and there's golfer's elbow.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So is this golfer's elbow?
Golfer's elbow is, when you were pushing down and it hurts.
Yeah.
If you push up and it doesn't hurt, and it hurts, that's golfer's elbow.
Oh, bloody golfers. Katie, listen, thank you very much for that. Thanks for telling me. I've got a death sentence on me.
Oh, flipping it.
I've got a death sentence.
Something else he's got.
I've got tennis elbow. You are never going to hear the end of this now.
Tell me about it.
Paul!
Hello.
Yes!
Okay, two things. I'll talk sensible tonight. First of all, you brought it up right, your elbow.
Yes? Can you turn your radio off, Paul?
It's off, yeah.
What's that echo?
I don't know. It came on the other night, didn't it?
Okay.
Right. I will say about your elbow, it's probably because you paid too much of Mario Kart, isn't it?
Thank you, Paul. Nice little joke as an hors d'oeuvre to the main course of seriousness.
Okay.
And a dadly jibe.
Yes.
Finally, I will say, you're going to New York, yeah?
Correct.
Okay, I can suggest you got to have pancakes in New York, yeah? You got to go to a place and have pancakes. I can recommend a place.
Please do, Paul.
Bubby's. It's called Bubby's.
Bubby's. And that's in New York, is it?
Yes.
Let me just write that down. Hang on a minute. Bubby's pancakes in... where was it? In New York?
In New York.
In New York. Okay, brilliant. We'll go there. Day one, meal one will be Bubby's in New York.
I can suggest the sausage and egg pancakes for breakfast.
Thank you so much indeed. That sounds disgusting.
When we were asking for restaurants, we were asking for places where we could do a show from. But, the food is also an excellent...
Do they have... Now, I haven't been to New York for a long time. Have they got McDonald's there, Paul?
Sorry? They got McDonald's there?
Have they got them in New York?
I'm sure they do have a McDonald's.
I love a McDonald's.
They've got a Subway. I love a Subway.
I love a McDonald's because it's like good old British food.
Yeah.
Yes, they do have a Subway in New York.
Paul, do you feel English?
Sorry?
Oh, jeez.
Do I feel English?
Yeah.
I suppose I do, but not in the way we can be represented these days.
What does that mean?
I think
you feel English, but you can't speak it. Yes.
No, but I feel pretty the way you have spoken tonight about it.
So you don't feel English?
I like to think I'm English. I like to think I'm British, but in a way, I'm pretty ashamed of it.
Well, in that case, that's not what I've been saying at all, because I feel neither shame nor pride. Why are you ashamed to be English?
Because of the way we're represented with Nigel Farage and things like that, like you've been on about. I mean, he speaks as he's totally English, but I don't agree with that at all.
But I don't consider him to be anything to do with me. He's certainly not a representative or a spokesman for me, so I feel... I think he's an arse, but I feel neither pride nor shame when he speaks, at the European Parliament or anywhere, because he's so far removed from me, it might as well be, a Nigerian woman speaking on... He doesn't represent me.
No, I totally agree, but what's the point of UKIP now? They've won, haven't they? What's the point of the party anymore?
Gosh, you're throwing out all of the phone-in radio cliches, aren't you?
Oh, no, it's just...
You'll want to legalise cannabis and bring back hanging next. Only for the paedophiles. That's the cannabis for the paedophiles. Well...
I just don't... I think he's kind of won in a way, and I don't agree with it.
Well, but what's that got to do with feeling English?
Because he represents what most people would think of, other people in other countries in Europe would think of as being an English person.
No, he doesn't. And most other people know...
He's an MEP, isn't he?
Sorry?
He's an MEP.
So what?
Well,
people know he's an arse.
MEP in European Parliament.
Yeah, but people know he's an idiot. And those
why did most people vote for Brexit?
Most people didn't vote for Brexit.
Yeah, I know it was but that's what we're doing now, isn't it?
That's what we're doing, but most people in the country didn't vote for it.
Yes, I know the percentages didn't, but what's shown in the polls and what they're doing now is to do Brexit.
Yeah, but again,
because people were misformed.
They were what?
Because people were misinformed.
Well, some would say that. Some would say that they did the research and they looked into it. I don't get this thing, this English pride of feeling English. I don't feel it. I feel like a citizen of the world, Paul. Come travel the world with me. Let's make love in Morocco. Let's run into the sea in Bali and kiss passionately.
Yeah, let's grow dreadlocks together on a field on a beach in Goa.
Let's go to Goa and on the beach grow dreadlocks, and once our dreadlocks have grown, let's make love.
I totally agree, Ian.
Paul, I shall see you there. That sounds beautiful, doesn't it? Going to make love with him on a field in...
But only once the hair is grown.
Yeah, only once the hair is grown. 03444991000. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Wait a minute, just...
Rearranging the furniture.
Rearranging the
and that
furniture.
is not a euphemism.
No, just moving this around so that people can see the woman on Periscope, but it involves moving a very, very hot lava lamp.
That's why it's called lava.
03444991000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Pick 1, 2 or 3, Catherine.
3.
Okie dokie, we go to Craig. Good evening, Craig.
Evening, Ian. Evening, Kath.
Nostar Cariad.
Hi, thank you very much.
You don't speak Welsh, do you, Craig?
No, he doesn't.
No, not a bit.
Oh, okay. Well,
Southeastern Welsh, so no, we don't do that.
That's a shame. Never mind. What you got for us?
2 things.
Yes.
With your lawnmower.
Yes.
Do you care that much what the grass looks like?
No.
Take off the thing that collects the grass then.
Oh.
So it'll just go back into the grass, all the cuttings.
You can't on this one.
You sure?
Yeah, it's a lid. So it's a lid, and you open the lid, and inside there's like a little sort of basket that collects it. But it's not one that clips on the back. It's in the body of the lawnmower, and it would involve taking the lid off, which you can't.
Have a look and see if you can do something.
I'm not going to adapt it. I'm not going to adapt a bloody lawnmower. That way madness lies.
Why can't you just nod and smile and say, thank you very much, Craig?
Because
That's a lovely suggestion.
Advice from an idiot.
My one, the bag clips on the back, and if you take the bag away, it's just a flap that folds down.
No, mine hasn't got flaps.
Anyway, talking about Xbox.
1-0 to me, Craig.
Oh, no,
round 2.
You bought a crappy small...
Round 2. Let's see if you can make it 1-1. I doubt it.
My wrists get hurt playing with the Xboxes and all that.
Oh.
So bad that you're like on a 3DS.
Yes.
You can buy hand grips.
Yes.
I have to actually buy them.
How? Hang on a minute. How much Xbox are you playing for it to hurt your wrists?
Oh, I tell you, when the Arkham Knight came out, and you could drive the Batmobile. Right?
Yeah.
I bought wrist restrainer things with the metal.
Wrist restrainers, you kinky devil.
That hold your wrists in place.
Yes.
And they got like a piece of metal in them, and then there's Velcro to tighten them all up, like for doing weights and stuff.
Where did you get that from? The sex shop?
On eBay.
On
eBay.
That sounds so butch for what is essentially.
Yeah.
Driving the Batmobile.
Yes.
So I got so engrossed. When I go on the Batmobile a bit, my arms would kill afterwards.
Yeah.
So I had to buy these restrainers to stop my arms moving so much.
Flipping heck. That wasn't official Xbox merchandise. That was you. What did you suggest I should do to the lawnmower?
Take the bag off.
Yeah. This is the equivalent of you hacking the lawnmower. You're now hacking your wrists to... Make
But
Xbox
they have
work.
to, man. Who killed them? Otherwise?
Hey, I tell you what, I don't half love the Nintendo Twitch. I bring it in, and when Catherine isn't looking, I get it out, and I've been playing a bit of Zelda. Kept getting attacked by these beasts, and I've had to climb up a mountain today.
He does it when I'm looking too, and I try and put him off.
I love it. And then there's a game on there that's a rip-off of Wipeout, but you go even faster than Wipeout, and it's a complete rip-off of it. But flipping it was good. And I had my headphones on, and I think I might have been shouting quite a lot.
You were shouting profusely, yes.
I was shouting and swearing, because you're going 700 miles an hour, and that's on the basic level. That's like level 1 out of 3 levels.
I think any more of that and you're going to need some wrist restraints.
700 miles an hour! Oh, it went half good. I'm tempted to play it while I'm talking to you idiots.
Except you would know, because he'd be going,
No, I would turn the volume of the console off.
But your volume?
No, I would be able to monitor it so that it would sound like my swearing would be in check, and it would sound like I was having a conversation with people. I might do that tomorrow when we're arguing about God. So it's 2-0 to me, Craig.
No, I'm saying get both things.
Yeah. It's 2-0. You lost both conversations.
Well, they weren't lost. This is what I do when it works and what you do when it doesn't.
Yeah, no. The first one was you wanted me to hack my lawnmower, and I destroyed you there. The second one, you thought you'd be really cool talking about wrist restraints, and you sounded like a knob. 2-0 to me.
Well, I was turned on. Craig, I think what you've discovered in this phone call is that he will not be told.
2-0, Craig.
That's typical male.
Admit defeat. I destroyed him there. Well, I destroyed him.
He was only trying to help.
No, it was pathetic. Absolutely. 2-0. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. Pick 1 or 2.
Ip dip do.
See, I know that as ip dip dog.
Oh well, I know that one as well.
Ip dip dog.
You are not it. Ip dip do. Cat's got flu. Dog's got chicken pox, and so have you.
I don't know that one.
And then if you didn't want to land on you are not it. It is someone else.
All I knew was ip dip sky blue. It is not you.
Oh.
What were the other ones? I could.
Ickalockle chocolate bottle, lickalockle out.
Oh, your girls ones. Your girls always had.
Put a penny in the bottle.
The thing is with the girls ones is you go, they'll be doing it. You go, well, I don't know what. It's me. How did it get? I don't know how it became me.
Because then you can modify it.
What was it? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Yeah.
But we never used to say the N word.
No, we didn't know.
I don't.
We said baby.
Eeny,
or
meeny.
Monkey.
Well, the boys say pirate. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger. I think it was. Catch a tiger by the toe, I think. Yeah.
That's not to be advised.
Ip dip dog. Ip dip sky blue. I think that was it. Those are the main.
2.
Okie dokie. Good evening, Jim.
Good evening, Ian. Just what you were saying then.
Yes.
I remember when there was all that controversy about Jeremy Clarkson, and they said, he was saying a foul word.
The N word, yes.
Now, I remember the tiger. That's what I remember, not the N word. I remember the tiger.
I've never heard it, but I imagine.
I've never heard anyone say the N word. Catch an N word by your thought. I've heard catch a tiger.
I think that must be a really old variation.
If I was Clarkson, I would have used the tiger defence until the end of the day.
Well, did you see the clip? Because in the clip you can hear him mumble it.
Oh,
yeah, you could. But in defence of Clarkson, which is not something I do very often, but I do think he's one of Britain's greatest talents, although I don't like the act. In defence of him, he didn't think that was being filmed, did he? That was just a rehearsal, I think.
I think some mischief was being made, but he'd been being a pain. Don't wind up the production
First
stuff.
rule of TV and radio, don't swear or be racist in front of a microphone or a camera. But then the second rule of TV production is what you say, in between the takes is private. That stuff should be private.
I know.
That stuff should be private.
But
I agree.
It was around that time when all the stuff coming out about how he was off camera came out and stuff, and I guess there was a bit of revenge in there, wasn't there?
Man, but I don't think. Yeah, never mind.
He is one of the greatest talents this country has ever produced.
I don't know where you get that from. Why do you think that? I don't agree.
Well, you can't disagree. It's a fact. His books go in the top 10, the number one in best-selling lists. Okay,
I'm thinking that Byron.
Top Gear was him. The other
Byron
two,
was a bit of a idiot as well, wasn't he?
Top Gear. We're not talking about Byron. We're talking about Clarkson. Hang on, we're talking about Clarkson, right? Top Gear, without him, flopped miserably. Top Gear was him, right? And he found an act and a voice and a tone and a language that millions of people love. And Clarkson is worth millions, absolutely millions. And I don't like the act, but people love him. People love him, and I think he's a genius. The figures don't lie, Jim.
You're right. Also, when you talked about having a strained hand from arcade games,
yes.
I watched the documentary King of Kong. Have you seen this documentary?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic one. So I watched that and I thought, right, I'm going to buy an old arcade machine. I'm going to convert it into a modern machine that runs all the games.
Wow.
And
when you mean saying old, do you mean an old cabinet?
Yeah.
Oh,
no, I've
Jim.
got a cocktail cabinet.
Oh, Jim, you're my hero.
No, I'm not. But my idea was originally I have done it now, but originally it was to convert that into one that ran all the games.
Yeah.
And then I realised that it worked. When I got it home, I went, oh, shit.
Yellow card.
Sorry,
okay, yellow card.
Yeah, it works. And it was Moonbase. Now, I don't know if you remember Moonbase.
Remind me which one Moonbase was.
It's a Nishibitsu game.
Yeah.
And they did Mooncrester.
I remember Mooncrester, yeah.
Yeah, Mooncrester was the more famous one, and Moonbase was very similar to Mooncrester, very Space Invaders.
And this was one of the cabinet, the cocktail ones, the tabletop ones.
Cabinet. Yeah.
How much did that cost you?
It was £100. But it had a smashed glass, and it was a mess. But it worked. And so I started playing the original game before I started converting it.
Yeah.
And this was a long, 10 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And I started getting really good at it. And there was a moment when I was left alone in the house for about 10 hours, and my wife at the time was out doing something else, and everyone was out, and I achieved this weird moment of zen.
Yeah.
I've never experienced anything like it, where I knew what was coming on the game. And I submitted the score to Twin Galaxies.
Wow.
I filmed it.
Yeah.
And I got something like the 12th highest score.
Flippin' heck, we've got a champion! Now that's something to be proud of!
Yeah, Moonbase is not a popular game.
Hey, have you seen...
if it was Donkey Kong, I wouldn't have been anything like in the top.
Have you seen the film Man vs. Snake?
No, I've not seen that.
Oh, it features a lot of the same people that are in King of Kong.
Oh, is Billy Mitchell in it with his tie?
Billy Mitchell is in it, and the Twin Galaxies guy. You learn more about the Twin Galaxies guy in it, but it's a guy called Tim McVeigh, and he plays this game called Nibbler, and he plays it for I think 40 hours straight. It is. I think that's on Netflix. It's online somewhere.
I'll have to watch that.
Man vs. Snake. It's a cracking film. If you like King of Kong, you'll like this.
Well, I presumed it was something to do with the phone game, Snake.
No, that's what I thought as well. No, it was an obscure American game called Nibbler, which is sort of like Snake, but a little bit different.
Oh, wonderful. It's always good chatting with you. Let's not forget Radiant Silvergun.
Let's never forget that, Jim, and let's never forget your embarrassing drunk phone call when you blabbered on about Radiant Silvergun and then sent me a babbling apology
Ian,
the next day.
Every single time I speak to you, I say it.
Jim, thank you very much indeed. There we go. That's what we like. A geeky gamer after my own heart. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. Late Nights with Iain Lee. Jonathan will come to you after this.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
What was Howard Hughes on about last night? He was talking to a really interesting guy from the States, and it was all on the phone and not on Skype. And Howard, I love Howard's show, but he makes a real point of keeps pointing out the technical issues with the show. We can't use the digital services we would normally use to speak to our guests because our sister station is using them. So we've got we're going to be using the phone, and they had this guy on from the States, and there was like a little bit of a hum in the background, but not a lot. The hum you can hear in the background is the American voltage system. It's 60 hertz, and it's causing...
No.
And it's causing a slight... And he kept mentioning it. Now, as a listener, I was listening to it on my phone in bed. As a listener, I couldn't really hear it.
But then you're listening out for it.
Huh?
But when they point it out, then you start listening out for it.
Yeah, but I couldn't really hear it. And then he said, well, we're going to have to, after half an hour, we're going to have to cut this interview short because that hum is just too disturbing. I'm thinking, no, I can't hear it, Howard. And then he
but
went
you
to
have
a
got
pre-rec.
funny hearing, haven't you?
Well, I have, but I can hear hums. But then he went to a pre-rec, and I was thinking, no, keep this guy on. He's good. He was good.
What was he talking about?
Bumming aliens. I think so.
Gosh.
He was aliens. Oh, there was a numerologist woman. Howard's an interesting character, right? My love for the Howard Hughes, The Unexplained Show, it knows no bounds. Okay? I just think it's the perfect
wonderful
Sunday night listen. When the other place is doing hatred, Muslims, hatred, Howard's talking to fruitcakes and lunatics.
They welcome the aliens.
Oh, man. So he had a numerologist on, right? And the numerologist was getting people's numbers. And to get people's numbers, she needed the month, the date of birth, and the year, right? And then she'd add them all up and get your number. And it was always like, well, you're a 3 and you're a 2, and 2 and 3s are very compatible. All this nonsense, right? And Howard refused to give out his birthday on the air. He said, "No, you've got my numbers." And she said, "Yeah, so you were on the 6th of June." He said, "Yeah, I don't like to give the year out because people can use it as a weapon against you."
What? What kind of weapon?
I don't like to give the year out because people can use it as a weapon against you. Howard, I think you've been talking to these nutcases for too long, my friend. You're getting paranoid. He's obviously older than he wants to let on, right? Yeah, which is fair enough, but I don't like to give out my birth year because people can use it as a weapon against you.
We have known presenters who were younger than they wanted to let on.
Oh, yeah. We worked with one who was... Who was the other one? I know that...
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Huh? Jocelyn.
Justin.
Oh, Justin.
Flipping neck.
Hang on, what was he? He pretended to be older than he was. No, he's quite old.
No, he's not. He's not. He was not. He's about my sister's age.
Well, she's quite... I mean, you're old.
I mean, yeah, we're older. But back in the day, when he was in his early 20s, he didn't like people to know.
Numerology, out of all of them, is the one that is obviously the most made-up nonsense.
Oh, feng shui as well, tidying up.
No, well...
But I do think if it's tidy, then you feel more relaxed.
Feng shui isn't about tidying up.
It is.
No, it's not about tidying up. It's about where you...
Put your mirrors in your water.
The thing about feng shui is, it's not... once the house is built, it's too late. It's to do with the design of the house. And it's just designing a house so that air can pass through it naturally. Don't make jokes. It's about air passing through it naturally. So it's where you have the stairs in relation to the door, and where you have the internal doors, and where the rooms are. So it actually kind of makes a sense.
But then there's stuff about not putting a mirror in certain places because your energy will bounce out of the window and all that.
Well,
cobblers.
Well, is it cobblers though? Can we get a feng shui expert on?
I'm sure we can.
Yeah, because I don't think it is cobblers. I think. You're just going by what you've read in the Daily Mail about it. Where'd you hear this thing about the mirror? Where'd you hear this thing about mirrors?
I've read about it.
Where?
I used to work in local radio. It comes up on the Daily.
Yeah, exactly. So you'd have half-assed, lazy presenters who were reading crib sheets that got their headlines from the Daily Mail. Feng shui is...
How'd you spell it?
F-E-N-G.
Yeah.
Feng.
I've got that.
S-H-U-I. Feng shui. It is, or maybe it's an E. I think it's an I. Feng Shui. Shui McPhee, of course. Shui McPhee was the chef. Where?
Oh, no.
Crossroads Hotel.
Still trying to spell shui.
There is a science to it. It's not, there is a certain amount of science. It's about spirits passing through and energy passing through, which basically means, does your house have good flow?
Good vibrations.
And it's not about, you can't put, you've got to have money by the table and it means you'll be wealthy. It's not that. That's all nonsense. That's all rubbish. It's all about if you're going to consult a feng shui expert, then they should be working in tandem with your architect. That's what it's about. That's what it's all about. Whereas numerology, it's your numbers. What? You add up your date of birth, and that's your number, and you're a 6, and 6s are compatible with... Basically, every number she said was compatible with every other number.
Numbers are good.
And I was listening, because people would phone in and get their number. Oh, there was this bloke phoned in, right? And Howard said, so, give us your date of birth. And he went, right, the 24th of the 12th, and then then the woman said, so what's your date of birth? He went, oh, it's the 6th of July. 1970. And she went, okay, why did you say the 24th of the 12th? He said, oh, that's my son's birthday. I've got 4 more here for you. And they went, well, no, we'll do yours. And then at the end, Howard said, well, give us your son's then. And he said, right, the 24th of the 12th, 1990.
Yeah.
So he's like a grown-up. So I think he's like a baby or something. He said, I've got 4 more here for you, Howard. He said, well, we haven't got time for that now.
What's he going to do if he's not compatible with his kids? Chuck him out?
But it's just numbers. I mean, your life isn't governed by numbers.
All that stuff. If you have to ask someone to do some maths to work out whether your partner and you are compatible, it's probably not. I was listening intently, right, and imagining that every reading she was giving to me, and every reading would have fitted for me. Every reading would have fitted for me. You like to get things done well, and if you don't do things well, you get frustrated, and sometimes you can lack self-confidence, but you're quite outgoing. All of this, I was thinking, well, yeah, that's the way it works.
Bullshine, isn't it? Yeah. Bullshine, Jonathan.
Bullshine indeed, Ian.
Oh, it's not the racist Jonathan. It's the boring Jonathan.
Well,
we want racist Jonathan back.
I can become racist, Jonathan.
No, we don't want you to fake it. We want the real racist Jonathan to please stand up. Please stand up.
I'm totally with you on numerology, though, as well. It's just the least sexy one as well. Like, numbers just aren't that interesting. It's like that TV show, Numbers, that detective one.
What?
Did you ever watch
no, of course I didn't watch it because it sounds rubbish. Hey, I tell you what I started watching, right? Because I started it before and I didn't like it, and everyone raves about it. Better Call Saul.
Oh, I love that. It's great.
The Breaking Bad. Now, I love Bob Odenkirk, and I've always loved Bob Odenkirk, ever since I saw him in Mr. Show years and years ago. And this has also got the brilliant Michael McKean in, who was in Spinal Tap, and is just wonderful. And it's a slow burner, and I'm kind of 80% sold on it, but it is, I do wonder what the point of it is. I don't think there's any point to it. But
you've seen Breaking Bad, right? So you know the characters.
Have I seen
Breaking Bad?
What's that?
You've seen it.
No, seriously, what is that? I don't know what that is. Is that another American series?
It's on Netflix. It's where Better Call Saul came from. You know what it is.
No, I don't know what it is. What was it called? Breaking Dad.
Breaking Bad.
I'm going to write this down. What is it about?
It's a school teacher who finds out he's got... You know what it is.
Do I need to have seen Breaking Bad to understand Better Call Saul? Please say no, otherwise I don't want to have to do research.
Well, I watched Better Call Saul first, and then I went to Breaking Bad. Okay. I was pretty confused, but
but if I do Better Call Saul first, then I can just go to Breaking Bad.
Yeah, you can gear shift. It's a very different kind of show.
Beautiful.
But yeah, it's a slow burner. You're right, and there isn't much point to it, but it's really enjoyable.
Well, that's great. What have you called in for, non-racist Jonathan?
Well, I'm going on holiday on Thursday, and...
Do you want to look after the cat?
Well, I want to keep up with all the shows, and I was thinking, with the power invested in me as the best Jonathan current...
self-proclaimed.
I was wondering...
Yes, the self-proclaimed best Jonathan. I will definitely say you are the current Jonathan, but you are my third favourite Jonathan.
Let's just say your coat is on a very rusty nail.
Yeah. And is that a euphemism for a willy that's... Is it?
No.
Okay.
But I was just wondering if you could pause the show for like a week.
Not a problem, buddy. Not a problem. When are you going away?
Thursday.
Yeah, okay. And when do you get back?
The following Friday.
Absolutely, absolutely not a problem at all,
Where do you live again, and where do you keep your valuables?
In the cupboard.
Okay.
He lives in a cupboard. Excellent, Jonathan. Not a problem, mate. We're happy to do that. If anyone else is planning a break, let us know, and we will pause the show. 0344 499 1000. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night Iain Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Interesting. The trail for your show, which I now believe exists, I didn't... So it's a joke.
Oh, it exists, all right.
They use... Can you get rid of that music? Quick, thank you. They use the George Harrison song from the White... Savoy Truffle by George Harrison.
Oh, I heard Buffalo Stance.
Oh, well, there you go. Jessica, what did you hear? Was it Savoy Truffle or Buffalo Stance?
Oh, do you know what? Honestly, I wasn't listening, but...
This is the problem.
Nor was I, actually, Jessica, and neither is anyone in the country.
No, I was listening earlier, and when you were talking about the numerology thing, I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think it's nonsense. But it reminded me of this thing, yeah? And honestly, it's bad. I accept that it's bad. Yes. But when I was a student, I read tarot cards over the phone, and honestly, I just used to make it up.
Oh, what, like an 0898 number?
Yeah, of course. It was amazing. It was like I was a student. It was a great job. I just did it from home. For the first few weeks, you, like, use the cards and follow the script. But then I did it for about 3 months. I just used to make it up. If they sounded upset, I was nice. If they were stupid, I was like, oh, you want to watch it? I've got a death card here for you. It just depends on what mood I was in as well. And
it's like doing this job.
Pardon?
It's like doing this job.
Well, it was, you know, because sometimes there's people, I mean, on a serious note, sometimes there's people, they're using it as an outlet for some sort of pent-up emotion, and I was nice to people, you know, but sometimes if they were just boring, I was like, oh, you want to be careful, you know. Did they meet someone in purple?
Did they phone up and ask you, like, specific questions?
Yes.
What kind of stuff did they ask you?
Well, all kinds of things. I mean, you had a script, like I said, but I didn't really stick with that very much. But they would say things like, I need to know when I'm going to meet the man of my dreams and when I'm going to get married. And I just used to sort of like say, right, well, how old are you? Well, have you got anybody that you've been going out with recently that you like a lot?
They'll do.
They'd be like, and they're like, after about 5 minutes, because obviously the longer they stayed on the line, the more money I made.
Yeah.
After about 10 minutes, I used to say, right, well, there's someone on the horizon, I can see it. I've just pulled the card of open gate with a nymph going through it, and it means that everything's going to be brilliant. And, you know, it was an awful thing, really, because you're fooling people, but people believe whatever they want to believe, you know, if you tell them the right thing at the right time.
Do you believe in the tarot?
Of course not.
No, well, good. I was worried for a second. I'm aware you're quite sensible. But, you know, there will be as much accuracy in what you said as if you had been drawing the cards.
I was probably better than the tarot because, like, I literally, really, in the end, I was like some sort of social worker, you know. And like I say, towards the end, I didn't even bother, like, even pretending to kind of, you know.
And did you do it in kind of like a? Did you like put on a mystical kind of voice?
Not really at all. No, I was just like, "Hello, how can I help you today?"
And how much did you get for that? I'm always intrigued by people who work on these numbers.
You know something? It was all right. I used to sort of probably do about, I don't know, maybe about 7 or 8 hours a week. It was crazy. But I probably had about 190 quid, I think I used to get.
Hey, that's all right, isn't it?
It was all right. You know, this was a while ago. It was fine. And like I said, I did it from home. They gave you a script. They told you how to do it. You just sort of did it like that for a bit, and then you just started, like, chilling out and just, like, you know, pretending. But people, like I say, people believe what they want to believe, and for some people it's really comforting, and I'm not sort of making fun of that. But equally, I am saying that I could just, you know, I could tell you whatever you wanted me to tell you, basically.
I used to buy into all that stuff. I used to read tarot cards. Imagine, I used to read tarot cards, and I would do it at school. Huh?
I don't understand the makeup of a person that actually believes in that personally. But
no, it's stupid. I don't know what I was thinking. It's obviously complete and utter bullshine. But when I was younger, I bought into it. I thought I believed in, like, some kind of mysticism and all of this nonsense.
Well, I mean, I think, like I say, for people that get some comfort from it, then that's fine. But all I'm saying is that I made a fortune from it. It was fairly easy, to be honest. And yeah, I was pretty good at it, and I knew nothing about tarot.
Jessica, if ever we need a tarot expert, we'll get you on.
Get me on. I'll be good.
Nice one. Thank you very much. 0344 499 1000. Let's go to Katie. Yes, you've been on, Katie.
I have, Ian. Quite frankly, I'm very disappointed in you.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm. I'm watching on Periscope, and you putting pressure on your arm.
I think we may have found the problem, Katie.
I'm not putting pressure on it. I have my arms crossed in front of me, and that hurts when I do that. And
so, you know, it's a nil thing, isn't it? You know.
Well, what am I supposed to do? Sit like this?
Which arm is hurting again?
This one, my left.
Right.
It's his left arm, and he's putting pressure on it. I'm a bit bored tonight. Sorry, I've been watching Periscope. So,
been in, Katie. You phoned up to slag off my posture, and now you're slagging off my show, saying it's been boring tonight.
Slagging off your posture or your show. Just stop putting pressure on your arm. You may moan about it and say, oh, God, what can I do? It's like a man having cold, isn't it? I'll do something about it.
You watching Periscope?
I can't, because it's like a couple of minutes in front, so I can't.
I'll tell you what you do. You hang up, and I'm just putting some pressure on my elbow now for Katie.
I mean,
Katie, this pressure is for you. Yeah, I used to buy into...
I used to do a quote-unquote comedy character called Aurora Borealis.
Oh, jeez.
Who used to read horoscopes.
Oh, gosh.
And they were really specific ones. And it was all a bit of fun, and it was just a bit of filler for this show.
Bit cheeky fun.
It was a filler for this show. And
not this show?
No, for this show I used to work on.
Yeah, I would never... Can I just say, I would never get fake characters on to fill my show.
We had quite a lot of them. But then this guy started ringing up, and we worked out that he actually thought she was real. I mean, it was ridiculous. She was horrible.
You've seen Clinton Baptiste, the character. What's his name? He's an actor. Alex Lowe. That's the guy's name.
No, he's not.
I'm getting one word. Nonce. It's a great. I think that's the only bit of Phoenix Nights I've seen. I don't think I've seen Phoenix Nights.
Did you not see the... Did you? Oh, it's quite funny.
You
should watch it.
Is it as funny as Early Doors?
It's okay. I'm gonna be brave.
Yeah.
I think Early Doors is a bit drier.
Oh, I love Early Doors. Made me laugh a lot.
I thought Phoenix Nights was good.
What about The Royal Family? I never watched that.
Loved that.
Was it good?
But you know,
hang on a minute. Let me just hang on a minute.
You know, I've also lived that.
Katie, what? Have you seen me resting on my arm, putting pressure on it?
I have. What was the old finger for? I'm trying to help you out here.
I was just resting my arm.
All right, well, all I'm saying is just don't do that because it'll be worse for you. That's all I'm saying. So there's no need for the fingers up.
No.
I was
just being rude for rudeness' sake.
No, I was not being rude. That was me in a relaxed position.
I mean, that's the position.
Okay, what is being rude though is sticking your finger up at me.
I'm not sticking my finger up at you.
He says that's how his hand naturally falls.
It's in a relaxed because of the disability I've got. Because I've got tennis elbow. That's just how the finger lies.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, well, you know what? Take care of yourself, sweetheart. I did really like your programme. Very rude.
Got a little bit tense there, hasn't it?
Your finger was the tense thing.
You love
That's
it.
the problem.
Paul, you've had double. You can't have double bubble.
Well, Katie's had triple, so.
I'm going to have double then.
I think Katie was genuinely offended there by me.
I'm not surprised.
Raising a finger at her. Well, these things happen. Yes, Paul.
Okay, I'm allowed double, am I? Double bubble.
Oh, every time.
Jesus.
Okay, right. You said you used to do tarot cards, yeah?
Yes, Paul.
Did you used to do the Ouija board as well?
Yes, Paul.
Right. Do you know what the Ouija board is? When you used to get in touch with someone that might be a ghost from Victorian England. That's an early form of text messages, isn't it?
Thanks very much for calling.
He's not
Paul.
wrong, is he?
Well, except he is.
What I love about Paul...
Yes.
...is the rhetorical questions, always.
Yeah.
You like the Ouija board, yeah?
Yeah.
You're from Slough, yeah?
Yeah.
All that, yeah.
Katie, I'm sorry if you were offended by my childish display.
He was only joking.
I was only joking, Katie.
He does
Come
it
on.
to me all the time.
I appreciate your advice, and I realise that some people may not find the middle finger.
And you're
being
still
displayed.
leaning on your elbow.
Well, no, but I'm not actually. I'm lifting it up a little bit, and I'm because I've got to. This is how I create intimacy. But Katie, I love you, and I apologise from the bottom of my finger.
Can you say it less sarcastic?
No, but I do. I am. So I think we proved that England is a fallacy, patriotism is a myth, and that we are all souls just wobbling around a giant piece of rock in the universe. So that's almost a conclusion.
That's that sorted.
That's that sorted. Tomorrow we're going to prove the existence of God, as in the Jesus Christ God.
Oh, specific God.
Yeah, specifically the white...
bearded man.
The white God. Yeah. I don't want to get involved with the brown gods, because there's so many of them, and some of those people that praise some of the brown gods, they can get a little bit jumpy.
Are you sure you want to do this tomorrow?
They can get a little bit jumpy, a little bit agitated, a little bit, don't want to say it.
Don't then.
Well, I'm going to say it.
Don't.
A little bit.
No.
Their arguments can get a little bit explosive, shall we say. So, I'm going to steer well clear from that. Don't want to get involved in that. We'll just do the Christian God tomorrow, and I will prove beyond reasonable doubt that God exists, that he sent his son Jesus Christ to save us from our sins, and that we should all invite him into our hearts for eternal salvation. That's tomorrow's show. What could possibly go wrong with that? I've got the kids tomorrow, so no doubt we shall be... Is it nice weather tomorrow? I think it is. I think it is. We'll be in the garden, probably. We've got a great game called Rugby It. We've got a rugby ball. I don't know where they got it from. And what they do is I'm it, and they run down the garden. I've got to lob the rugby ball and hit them in the back in the back.
Is this their game or your game?
No, they like it. They like it. It's not much air in it, so it doesn't hurt that much. They've not yet been sent flying.
But they know to run fast.
Yeah. But they like it. They enjoy it, and also it means I don't have to run around. I can just stand pretty stationary, and it's like, give that sunshine.
Good.
You're it.
Family fun.
So we'll be doing that. Take the dog for a walk, and then that'll be it. Really.
I'm getting my hair did tomorrow.
You were hair did?
Yeah. Getting my hair did.
Oh, nice. Getting the greys erased. Erase the greys, please. Contender ready. Erase the greys.
What was
please.
it you did to Katie?
She was genuinely offended by that, and then she said she never liked my show. That was.
She used to like your show.
That was unnecessary. That was unnecessary. But fair play, I deserved it. That's it, guys. That's your lot. Don't forget there'll be podcasts up tomorrow evening, round about 7. Voice of the Beehive will be joining us on the line. If you've got any tips of where we can go in New York, then email ian@ianlee.com. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Catherine. We're back tonight at 10. Until then, ta-ta!
Talk Radio.
We got entertainment, and we're not afraid to use it. Talk Radio.